Happy Friday, man. How's it going, Coop?
It's going good.
Want to welcome everybody into the building. We're going to give some people some time to get in the building, get in the room, whatever. Get you a drink, kick back, do what you got to do. We got a lot to talk about today. We got some new music. I love when we get to talk about new music.
Always.
Man, um, it's from majors. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is new music. Terminator is always the first one in the room. Shout out to Terminator. Yo, what's good, man? How you doing? It's not even showing on my end that we got people in the room and I see Terminator in the chat. Always first. Salute everyone. Salute everyone. Uh, Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell everybody that we're live right now. We about to get into some real hip hop discussions, man. We got a lot to talk about today. It's a lot of new music. And like I was telling Coop offline, I think we're gonna make this a legacy episode. And shout out to Cameron. It's his birthday. I want to talk a little bit about that too. But first things first, any of the music you heard today stand out?
Two Chainz had some standout records on his project. I think it's a slightly above average album, Mike. It wasn't as dope as I originally thought. It's not what you think it is. It's probably somewhere in between my original opinion and your overall opinion.
Okay. Jack777 says that John Woo flicks is crazy. Okay, let's start there then.
I'm about to say, is that where we're starting?
We might as well. Okay. John Woo flicks dropped today. They say it's Conway's song, and it's also registered under Benny as well.
A little dual.
So I'm not sure, but I definitely know it's Conway's song. It could show up on Benny's project too. What's your reaction to it?
I agree. It's a super dope record. I mean,
Conway got two verses on there, right?
Yeah.
I think it's his.
Probably. I mean, it's, I don't want to understate it, but it's like, well, aren't we kind of used to them knocking it out the park when the three of them get on the record more often than not? Last Scene, that's what they did on Hell on Earth Part 2.
Like you said, it's on Message. It's on Message, and this kind of takes me back, I'm talking like it was a long time ago, it takes me back to the 2020 Griselda.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, for the people who weren't, following the show at that point, because we were going live on Facebook at that point, for the most part, we were talking about Griselda seems like every damn week because we were in a pandemic, and my theory was the majors weren't going to drop. None of the majors were going to drop, so a lot of the guys who were indie and who were on the grind were able to flourish. Majors not dropping because ain't no concerts. People can say whatever they want. They're in 360 deals, and with no shows, you're not putting out no records. I think 2020 showed who was in a 360 deal and who wasn't. But anyway, that was Griselda year, and it was wide open for them. Westside dropped 3 quality projects. Conway dropped From a King to a God. Burden of Proof dropped that year too, right? I'm losing count.
No, that's correct.
Okay. And so I feel like this song sounded like a return to form, man. And
I don't think they necessarily lost form, just were not as active in 2021. But as far as 2020 is concerned, Mike, you're going to be hard pressed to find a collective that was as active as they were in 2020. I told him, I was like, it was like very No Limit like, but the quality of music was higher. And that's not to discredit the quality of music that came out from No Limit. Hey, Mike.
I know what you mean.
Hold the people for 20 seconds. I got to grab something.
Okay. So, the music y'all heard today. I see Miss Lynette says Nicki's single was hot trash. We're going to talk about Nicki's single. And we're actually going to talk about Nicki's legacy, too. Where does Nicki get placed all time? Like, is Nicki, to some people, underrated? Over the top? Where the people in the chat right now, where do y'all have Nicki placed when we're talking on an all-time list, whether it be an all-time, or all-time female list? I want to know. Yeah, Coop, you got to get the water, man. That happened to me too. I came in here and I was like, I saw a water bottle and I sat down and it was damn near empty. And I was like, nah.
Just happened to me. Yeah, that just happened.
That's crazy. So yeah, I'm not saying return to form like they ever went away from it. I think last year they had such a great year in 2020. Some of the stuff that they dropped last year fell a little bit short, and we didn't see as much collaboration from them than we did in the previous year. Also, they were starting to bring other people into their world even more than they did before. So it's great to hear these three guys on the track together, and the order of it a little unorthodox from what they're used to, because Westside normally doesn't close out when they're on songs together when it's the three of them.
That was the most striking thing about the record. Actually, it was the order, because aren't we used to kind of Conway like Conway never starts the record almost. It seems like. I mean, I know on the actual the Griselda album, the WWCD album. Conway let off some joints, but he's usually their closer or middleman at worst on records. So just the start of the record, but also too, and this is what I mean, and this is why it feels like it's Conway's record. Conway more than the other two or anybody else in the camp, or very few people in hip hop, Conway's always on message. And since he's kind of starting off his project with the Griselda record, I think he wanted to go first to set the tone.
Yeah.
Get the message clear and to let you know that it's his record too, because it's not like him to start off a record when it's the other two people involved.
I was thinking that too, because usually when they do their records, whoever starts it off is normally theirs, right? You know, you got Brutus where Benny starts it off, but you know, there are exceptions to it. But the way he started it off and set it off, I felt like it was his record. I'm seeing a lot of interesting stuff in the chat because I asked that question about Nicki. I'm seeing people saying Nicki's a top 15 female MC. I see top 3, top 5. We're going to have a real interesting discussion with that. Y'all might be surprised at my point of view on, you know, Nicki's all-time, you know, listing when it comes to being an MC in hip-hop. I don't even want to just marginalize her on the female list, but if y'all want to talk about, you know, the greatest female MCs list, maybe we should, because we haven't had that discussion, I don't think, on our show either in a minute or since we, you know, had the YouTube show going. I don't think we have. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second when we talk about Nicki's song. But yes, I'm looking forward to the tone that is being set from this Conway record, because like you said, he's on message and he's setting the tone in a similar way that he did with Lemon. And so if this is our first look and he's spitting the way he's spitting, he understands the moment. I still think actively he's the best MC in the game, right? And
I can't say that after I heard Magic.
Okay. I don't count Nas, but yeah, I got you.
He doesn't count. He doesn't count. Is he grandfathered in somewhere? Is that what that is? Okay, that's fine.
Okay, yes. All right. Nas is the best MC in the game. We got to be fair, right?
King's Disease 2.
After 2021, Nas is currently the best MC in the game until somebody comes and dethrones that.
No. He's got viable competition. He's got viable competition like he did early in his prime. Actually, it's as viable as it's been.
Nas the GOAT says, what do y'all think about Nas's new track? He dropped another song? Wait a minute. Hold on. Are y'all trolling? What new track are we talking about?
I got a day job, y'all.
Because we'll sit here and play this like on the live.
Sometime. Unless we're going live.
It's called Tomorrow.
He's got a new song?
He's got a new song. Huh. I'm going to skim through this real quick. You want me to talk to the people while you go listen to it? You want to do that?
Got John Legend on it. Yeah, I'll be back in 3 minutes.
John Legend's on it. I don't know. But okay, go ahead. You go listen to it. I'll talk to the people. Yep, people are saying with John Legend. What did y'all think about the song? Because we haven't heard it yet. It was so much new music that dropped today. It kind of went around our radar for whatever reason. Nas the GOAT, tell us how it is. Coop's going to listen to it right now. Okay. I guess we can get in this Nicki discussion real quick. if y'all are saying that Nicki is top 15, I want to see who are all the MCs that y'all think are better MCs than Nicki. First off, bar for bar, better MCs, and who do you think? I think this is the better question. Actually, has a better catalog than Nicki. Cooper's sitting here listening to the song live on the show.
Wait for John Legend to stop singing.
Nas the Goat said it was okay. I mean, John Legend's on it, man. I'm sorry. No shade on John Legend. Just skim through it nice. K. Thompson says, y'all listen to Saba. Yeah, I saw the song that he had with Crazy Bone out there, and it was hard. Coop is listening. This is his live reaction. We're getting live reactions right here on the show. We need to do this more often, where we're sitting here listening to the songs live on the live. Lauren is number one. Is Lauren number one? This is my thoughts on Lauren. Lauren is the best female MC I've ever heard spit. But she does not have a solo rap catalog, so it's very hard to say I'm going to put her above an MC like even a Queen Latifah. I mean, honestly, man, when we look at the catalog that Kim has put together, that's hard to say too. DeCarlo says Lauren, E, Foxy, Rhapsody are better bar for bar.
Agreed.
But see, you know how I feel about Lauren. I love Lauren. And I was just saying while you had your headphones on, I think that bar for bar, she's the best female MC I've ever heard spit. But it's hard for me to put her above certain people when she does not have a rap catalog. She does not.
I mean, as far as rap skills go, Mike, she's better than almost all the guys.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
I feel like she's the best female. She's better than almost all the guys, too. She's better than most of the guys.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But
better than 98% of the guys.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's like the Andre 3000 argument. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how about this, Mike? For as talented as people think Andre 3000 is as an MC, I actually think Lauren is even more gifted than he is. How about that?
Now that I disagree with, but I feel you.
Mike, she's more of a quotable like bar for bar lyricist than he is.
Now, one thing she does have over him is the fact that we know what a solo song sounds like where she's just handling the verses.
Well, Mike,
now we know that.
Well, here's the thing about it. It doesn't just sound good when she did it. It's all great. We don't have much evidence of her doing it, but we know she can do it, and we know she's great when she does it. And she's more talented than him, yeah. Yeah,
I think CeeLo's more talented than him, to be perfectly honest. They're probably both, actually. But Lost Ones is, would you say that's your favorite female hip-hop record? Rap record?
Maybe, Mike. Yeah. As far as if we just talking about rap, you want to know what, Mike? I mean, on a personal level, when I'm riding around, no, Mike. Like, if we just talking about objectively, like in this rap thing, like yes, like that and Final Hour, actually, Mike. But when I'm riding around, actually, I prefer to hear No Time or Queen Bitch off Hardcore. Like when the Beat the QB kick in. Like, yeah, and she's in pocket.
I think No Time might be my favorite female rap record.
Right.
It's either that or I got another one. Jack777 said, Coop, you bugging. I think it was the Andre comment he's talking about. Yo, I think the Brats Give It To You remix might be my favorite female rap record.
I was thinking of my favorite Brat records too, Mike, because you know I'm a big fan.
Give It To You is crazy. Like I'll put that song on repeat to this day.
Mike, I mean, you want to know what? And it's like not the song, Mike, but still Foxy's verse on the I Shot You remix. It's like I just remember that being in such a moment because I had never seen a female take the stage and have the presence that she had in the midst of the talented contemporaries that she was with. That was a special moment for female MCs, in my opinion, although not a song.
Where does Nicki fit in all of this?
Not as good as any of the stuff that we just mentioned, in my opinion.
Really? Okay.
Really,
Because I'm gonna try to
I mean,
be objective here.
if we're talking songs and bars, I'm not gonna have her in my top 5. If we're talking all things considered and impact and hits and all those other things that come with it, then it's gonna be hard to keep her out. But if we just, keeping it on some rapidy rap,
This is the thing with Nicki, and I think that, and this is no excuse, because again, your resume is your resume, and you have to stack it up if we're talking all-time stuff. But we always make excuses for Eminem in any situation. So I'm about to, say something about Nicki. I think that she is a victim of her era when it comes to being compared to others. I think she did what she thought was going to be successful in her era and ran with it. I think the mistake that she made on an all-time list is one of the things that made her such a crossover success. She shouldn't have been doing all those pop records. And honestly, when you hear Nicki, and you can hear that she can actually rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can hear that there is skill there and that she can rhyme. It's just the choices that she has made musically, I think, has crippled her against some of these other names that we're talking. Because I don't care what anybody say. I get it. Kim has a better catalog, album for album, and all that. But if you had Nicki on the block and Kim on the block, and you talking about straight spitting, Nicki would wrap circles around Kim. I believe that. I do. I can hear it in her. Like, I can hear that Nicki can spit. I think that the music doesn't reflect that.
Just because it's in you don't mean that it's coming out.
It comes out on records. It comes out on records.
This is what I keep saying. Not like QB, Mike. Nicki don't. I mean, Mike. Every time I bring up Quiet Storm remix and All About the Benjamins, people be like, "Well, what about Monster?" And I'd be like, "Oh, well, that's why I keep on bringing up 2 shots, and everybody only gives me 1." That's what I'm talking about.
Listen,
like, she's crazy. She's crazy in the moment in a way that
those
Nicki
are just
is not.
Listen, cool.
We're regular guys on record with her. This is somebody that rhymed next to Biggie regularly too.
DeCarlo says, especially considering Big wrote for her. I mean, yes. That's the other thing. Whatever. We'll put that to the side for a second. But this is what I will say about
We've had that conversation.
This is what I will say about the records you're talking about. Those records, the Benjamins, Quiet Storm remix, these are great records.
Oh, they're classics.
Unfortunately, Nicki just hasn't been around in a time to be on records of that quality. Is that fair to say? Do you not feel like if Nicki was in the 90s and had the opportunity to be on a Quiet Storm remix, you don't think that would go a little bit differently?
Mike, that is absurd, and I'm going to tell you why.
You think that's absurd?
It's absolutely absurd, and I'm going to tell you why. She was attached to the biggest hit makers in hip hop, has in 1 and 2, Lil Wayne and Drake, for the entirety of her career. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about quality is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about hit makers. I think that we all know Drake doesn't have a Quiet Storm in his catalog.
Mike, the quality's not there.
Yes,
because what I'm trying to say is that she's been on records where she could have seized those moments the same way Kim did.
What records? Ain't no Benjamins in their catalog, and I get it. These guys sold a lot of units. Drake and Wayne sold a lot of units. They ain't got no Benjamins in their catalog. They don't have no Quiet Storm in their catalog. They don't.
That might be stretching it, but what I'm saying
they don't got an I Shot Ya in their catalog.
Mike, but what I'm trying to say is that, like, when you're talking about her as an MC and saying she got Kim, I'm like, okay, show me the moment. Show me where. Give me the evidence. If there's a crime, somebody commits a crime, Mike, you need evidence. Like, you have no evidence. That's what I'm trying to say. So everybody, like, I hear that. It's like, oh, yeah, you hear it, but give me the evidence of it.
There's a lot of records, man. Nicki raps her ass off.
Mike, Nicki doesn't have one record where she's killing the mic even the way Kim is on No Time. And you know it.
K. Thompson says, does Nicki have a classic album? How come Nicki
ain't made no Time, Mike? How come Nicki hasn't made a No Time, Mike? If she's better, if she can spit better.
It's not about her spitting. She ain't got the people to put together those records. Like, she doesn't.
Mike, she's been literally attached to the two biggest rap hit makers of the era. So how much more of an advantage do you want her to have? That's what I'm saying. She was already with the best in terms of making hits.
What I'm saying is,
she's part of the machine.
That hit making machine crippled her on an all-time level. You know what I'm saying?
It didn't cripple Kim. Kim sees those moments, made dope records, and you could still hear that she could rap her ass off, Mike. That's my point. She could rap her ass off and make the hit record. Where Nicki
I would put Kim on an overall list. I would put
I want evidence to the contrary.
Listen, on an overall list, I would put Kim over Nicki. But I feel like on a spitting level, man, like when I hear Want Some More and songs like that, or when I hear like
Want Some More, yeah.
Yeah, like she can rhyme, man. Like you can hear
she can do things, but Mike,
yeah.
But
see again,
but Kim doing that a lot.
Cool. You know what's so funny?
We have evidence of Kim doing that a lot. That's like the guy that has potential to score 25 points a game in the NBA, but they only average 14 to 17 points of their career. It's like, yeah, I know they can do it, but like, did they ever do it?
You know what's funny? I guess
when you don't do it, you don't end up in the Hall of Fame averaging 14 to 17. You do end up in the Hall of Fame averaging 25.
You know what's funny, Coop? I guess the technical stuff doesn't matter when it comes to Nicki, huh? I guess it matters when it comes to Eminem, but when we talk about technical skills and technical proficiencies, Nicki got all those things, but I guess because she's not Eminem, the technical part doesn't weigh into her overall shit.
So you think she's technically better than Lil' Kim?
Yes, on a technical level. Lil' Kim makes better music, but again, we say that about Eminem all the time, but I always get the heat. I'm an Eminem hater. Oh, well, he's such a great writer. He's technically proficient and all that. No, Nicki on a technical level can actually do flows and pull off flows that Foxy, Kim, and shit, even Light never pulled off. So what are we talking about here?
Do they sound better than her on the mic, though? The answer is yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right. Sound better on the mic.
I say the same thing about Marshall. But like you said in the previous episode, we can't take the skill part, the technicals out of it.
No, Mike, I'm not saying that she doesn't have it. How about this? You want to know what? The technical rapping stuff that I talk about with Eminem, Mike, there's evidence of it. I'm asking you for evidence of it.
Let me ask you, speaking of evidence, where's the great lyricism in your opinion? Like you... the rap round table said, you know a lot of verses. Pull me out some, evidence of incredible technical proficiencies when it comes to Eminem, and I'll stand down.
Technical proficiencies?
Yeah, that's so lyrically great because everybody points to him being such a great lyricist. So, give me the bars. Where they at?
Okay, Mike, remember Till I Collapse? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
But what did he say? What are the words?
Oh, you're talking about the actual context of the words. Well, Mike, you can't defend Nicki and ask me to make that claim. That's what I'm saying. She don't say nothing.
We're talking about Eminem now.
No, we're supposed to be talking about Nicki now. That's what right. You're trying to use Eminem as a jump off Nicki. But what I'm trying to say is if you're saying that Eminem don't be saying nothing, Mike, neither does Nicki. What Nicki be talking about, Mike? So you think she's better than Kim because she's technically sound?
I didn't say she was better than Kim. I said if they were both sitting there rapping, I think that Nicki would probably out-rap Kim. But again, it's interesting because we somehow give Eminem points on that cipher level too. They always point to the BET ciphers.
Let's go to Cool G Rap again. It's like, I think Cool G Rap in a cipher would out-rap Nas, Big, Pac, and Jay. Can he make a song like any of those guys? No. Okay.
What was the I got some lyrics for you. It was like, I'm a cross between what he said, Obama and the Dalai Lama. I'm a Haley's father or something he said. It was the cipher with Mos Def and Black Thought, and people felt like he smoked them and said nothing but blah blah blah. Remember that?
I mean, Mike, I'm gonna say this again. Guys don't end up in a cipher next to Most Def and Black Thought unless they can rap. Not regular rap, but high level rap. Whatever you may want to call it. And all I'm saying is that when you put Lil' Kim in those types of moments, she shines. Show me where Nicki shines in those moments to give credence about the things that you're saying. I'm not saying you don't have a valid point. I'm just saying there's not enough evidence of it, and Kim's got more evidence, and it's close enough technically still. Like, you don't think that Kim is technically proficient on the mic?
Oh, yeah. And
That's
I think
what
she
I'm
got
saying.
better as the years went by. Listen,
Yes,
I'm telling you, I'm putting Kim over her because of the catalog. And Kim, honestly, probably, when you count everything together, could have one of the strongest, if not the strongest, female rap catalog there is.
No, it is.
You know, I think a lot of people lean on Missy and what she was able to do for the game, and I love Missy. If we count her as a rapper in that sense, then yes, but no one's going to Missy for bars. It's more so hip hop creativity. Like, Missy's a whole nother different thing. But if we talking about people who just rap, it's really hard to beat the catalog that Lil' Kim has put together over these years. It's really tough. I think Light's, do you think MC Light's a better rapper than Kim?
Yes.
I think so too.
Yes.
I don't think she has a better catalog than Kim.
I think Latifah's a better rapper than Kim
She
too.
is. Mike, right now, Latifah's a better rapper than Light. If we want to be perfectly honest, right now. You heard her on the Rhapsody album?
Yeah. More fluid, yeah.
But
I mean,
with
Mike,
that being said, Kim has a better catalog than both of them.
Yes, Mike. When you were talking about like Nicki, like on the block, I was thinking to myself, it's like, yeah, you can say that about Kim. She don't want no part of Foxy on no block.
That would be interesting.
No, would not.
So all these things together, where do you put Nicki on an all-time female list?
Just all around, objectively.
Yes.
I can't put her over Light, Latifah, or Kim.
Okay.
I would have to put her over Lauren, even though in clear conscience, it just seemed hard saying that. But to the catalog point,
I just think Lauren. I think we kind of got to do the Andre thing with her, where she just doesn't count. You know?
And being fair,
yeah.
I don't think she's better than Foxy or Eve either. But I think she's been more important and made better work.
Yeah.
And so I'm probably gonna have to slide her right after those ladies that I just mentioned objectively. So it would probably
top 5.
It would be 4 objectively, probably.
Okay.
But I would not put her ahead of Light or Latifah or Kim on any sort of day objectively.
You know, I think
like it would be 1, 2, 3, and then gap.
I think, man, it's hard for me because, you know, we always, when we talk about all-time MCs, we talk about just the abilities that you have individually as a lyricist and your abilities to make albums, classics, and the longevity's in there too. It's hard to put anybody above Kim. I don't think Kim's the best rapper, but when you talk about everything together, it's very hard. You talk about the impact, you talk about the crossover success, you talk about the core records, you talk about the standout verses. You could even go to the sales. You could talk about notoriety. It's hard to just put anybody ahead of what Kim means to the game.
Mike, not the same level of impact, Mike, but had he still been here, she has had a career like her mentor was having before he was murdered. She's done it all, could do it all, did it all well at a high level. It's hard to beat her because of that. That's why I tell you, it's like if we're talking about the totality of all things that encompass an MC, that's the guy back there. That's who she learned from.
Yeah.
And what you see out of her career is somebody that learned from the most well-rounded MC we ever saw. And that's what her career is. And no other female has it like that.
And let's keep it real. Let's keep it all the way above. If he was the only driving force behind her career after his murder, she would have been done. We've seen this happen before. When certain people who were behind certain artists drop off, that artist is done. She was able to continue on and give us some of her most impressive performances after he was no longer here. And we got to give her credit for that too.
I mean, Mike, her most impressive mic performances as an MC actually started when he passed. Like,
Yeah.
she got more impressive when he passed. She was, like, Mike, she was one of those people that her charisma drew you in. Like, I mean, I think everybody around our age bracket remembers the first time we either heard or saw her on Players Anthem. It's the verse ain't even that special. You could just tell she was special.
Yeah.
You could tell it.
The verse was kind of special, but I know what you mean.
The verse is kind of special, but it was something about her that was all around special. That's how her career has been.
I mean,
No
you look
one's
at her
ever done
influence, and I know this was about Nicki and stuff too, but it's hard to even put Nicki above her for the fact that it's clear that she really influenced who Nicki is as an artist. And not just Nicki, when Kim came out, everybody started sounding like her. And that's just the truth. The approach, even as dope as I think Foxy is, as great as I think Foxy is, we did a whole segment on Foxy's importance. When she came out with Hotspot, that's Kim.
That I had a problem with. I had a problem with Hotspot because here's the thing. Foxy was better than Kim, in my opinion, up until that point.
Mm-hmm.
She did that was a point where it's like, I'm going to go.
That was almost conceding at that point.
Right. And she didn't need to do that because I thought she had a better delivery.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kim, man, she set a trail. She was a trailblazer. And even as dope as I thought Charlie Baltimore was. And obviously that's similar camps somewhat. But you could tell that approach, it was like, you got to be like Kim. Every female MC that came out during that time, Kim was the blueprint. She took baggy jeans out. Did she not?
She feminized it.
Yeah. Female MCs used to come out with baggy jeans and all that stuff, man, and she took that out the game.
No, she feminized it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are saying that Kim can't rap like Eve. Now, I think Eve is incredibly dope.
Yeah.
I think that if Eve would have kept on, I think that, I think Eve might be top 5. Let me go through my top 5 in a second, but Eve could potentially be top 5 for what she did in the game. The impact of Eve is just not there like some of the others, if that makes any sense. Is that fair to say?
It's more than fair to say.
And that could be just a timing thing, I'm not sure. But it wasn't like Eve went out there and you had a whole bunch of copycat Eves after her.
I don't think she stayed long enough to be that impactful to do that.
Yeah.
But I think she did have a moment. How about this, Mike? She was going to have a very Lil' Kim-like career in terms of this chick can spit, but she can make the hit record. She's beautiful. She's well-rounded. She knows how to make hit singles. So she had a lot of tools in her bag. She just seen that the bags were bigger elsewhere, and we can't really knock her for that either.
No. And you know what? Missy dominated Eve's prime in that space.
She did.
When you talk about hit records.
Yeah. There's about 3 year stretch where I felt like every chick that was on the radio, Missy had either wrote for or sang the hook for.
Yeah.
Or it was her record, or Timbaland had produced the record, which made you feel like Missy was in the background somewhere anyway. Yeah.
Now, again, Nicki dominated a span too, but she kind of has a Kendrick Lamar type of issue where it's like she dominated when the playing field was just kind of, And Rhapsody was around, but she hadn't gotten picked up on a major level either. So it was like,
Can we discuss that briefly, Mike? Because I've actually been thinking about that some the last couple of weeks. Because remember I was saying, this year, 2022, is actually, if you just look at who's about to drop, it's shaping up to be better than the previous 2 years, which is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think about that. I'm almost calling it like you know how like they call it the dark ages, Mike? I'm starting to look at that period of time almost like a dark ages of rap, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I look at that time, it's like we just have to be honest with ourselves. There's about a 5 to 7 year period where rap wasn't that good in terms of the quality and quantity of it being put out. So the people who were putting out quality music at that time got held up maybe higher than they would have been in other eras with stiffer competition. Nicki and Kendrick fall right in the middle
beneficiaries of that.
Yeah.
There was a time, bro, like
Reality.
at the BET Awards, and I think this is before they did the BET Hip Hop Awards, or maybe it was the BET Hip Hop Awards. But that category, Best Female Hip Hop Artist, because again, BET wasn't putting Jean Grey out there. They weren't putting Rhapsody out there. Some of the people that they had Nicki up against, you didn't even know who they were. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Diamond from Crime Mob was up against it. She had like one song or something, and it was like, this was the pool. People were even talking about possibly taking the category out. I think Nicki won like 8 or 9 years in a row.
I mean, Mike, there was about 8 or 9 years where there were just, in terms of what, in terms of marketability and what the media is going to disperse and put out for mass consumption, there wasn't anybody other than Nicki to give people. And that's what I mean about some of it being inflated. It's like, no, I mean, people understand Lil' Kim came out in a time like where Latifah and Light and MCs like that were still relevant in the fabric of this society. Mike, she's hardcore comes out the same year as The Score. So Lauryn Hill's right there, Mike.
No, that's real.
Right there when hardcore is coming out.
I mean, they were able to do a ladies' night, you know what I'm saying, with Left Eye, you know what I mean, the Brat. Kim,
The Brat's there, Mike.
Missy.
You know how I feel about the Funkified. The Brat is top 10 to me just off Funkified, Mike.
Well, at the end of the day, when we talk about female MCs jumping on features,
Mike,
the Brat was a
Bahamadia.
monster for that.
Oh, Mike, Bahamadia was out around the time Kim was coming out. Like,
I
these
love
are
Bahamadia.
MCs, Mike.
Yeah,
Didn't Collage come out in '96 when hardcore came
it
out?
did. Yep, Collage came out in '96.
So this is
Three
what
the hard way, like, you know, it was some spitting out there.
Yeah, Mike, Bahamadia on Push Up Your Lighters on Philadelphia Half-Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So-
know what is it? What's the name of that song? You Know How We Do. That was my shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was rock on. Yo, I used to wait for that to come on Rap City, man. That was my shit. Yes. Get the like buttons up, man. Make sure you press the like buttons and tell your friends that we live. Make sure everybody subscribes to According to Hip Hop. Man, we having a good discussion about
Mike, Heather
Female
B,
MC.
All Glocks Down, that's 95. That's when Junior Mafia shit coming out, right?
Okay.
Right. That's
So,
I'm just
to put that in
contextualizing
context.
how many female MCs are around Kim while she's rising to prominence and becoming iconic.
And changing the game.
Changing
Who were the
it.
female MCs that were
And
around?
Foxy. We ain't talked about Foxy.
No, we ain't even talked about Foxy.
Or
Nonchalant.
Yo-Yo.
Yeah. Yo-Yo. Yeah. Countless.
Countless.
And then
shit.
there was unity there too. It wasn't like it was, you know, Scrabble and beef or whatever. You know, you had whatever with, you know, Kim and Foxy, but whatever. But what I was gonna say is compare that to who's coming out when Nicki hits the scene. Like on a mainstream level, you know what I'm saying? Because again, people like Jean Grey and Rhapsody weren't really getting the notoriety that they should and getting
Right.
the support that they should.
I got another one for you, Mike. It's 96. Rod Digger and Lauryn Hill going back and forth on Cowboys. Ain't they? Digger's in the building in 96 too. The comp is heavy, even for the females.
Digga dropped in her solo album in 99 or was that 2000? I remember
99.
having that album,
Dirty Harry.
and I don't care what anybody says. It's my favorite female rap album. I think I've said that on the show before. The Pete Rock song is ridiculous. Like backstory with that. I bought the Any Given Sunday soundtrack, right?
Why?
And Ron bought for the Outkast song, that Sunday morning. I bought it for that. Anyway, I had it, and Ron bought the Rod Digger. And for whatever reason, he took the trade, and I was very happy with the trade. And I was bumping that Rod Digger like crazy.
Digger was tough.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
Digger was tough. She's actually one of my personal favorite female MCs because that album is just on some bully foot rap shit. It's like a female Redman type thing, you know what I mean? But you're right. She was around. Who was around when Nicki hit the scene?
That's what I'm trying to say. So the lane was very, very open for her. What I'm saying is that Kim is somebody that analyzed the game, probably along with Big and Puff, because she did have Big and Puff there, but she carved out a niche. But she was dope, Mike. Like, that's what I'm saying. Amongst all these MCs that I'm talking about, she was clearly the most charismatic, and she took that advantage of that. but she could rhyme. The chick you're hearing on Get Money can rhyme. On Players Anthem, she can rhyme. On I Need You Tonight, she can rhyme. Get Money Remix, she can rhyme. Like, that ain't just where Big started to take off. That's where Kim started to take off too. I'm like, oh, they both starting to spit real crazy.
Yeah, people are saying Nicki really didn't have much in her class on a mainstream level. I guess we would have to go look at, who was nominated against her in some of these award shows. So we do have to put that in consideration. I will say this. Even though I don't think Cardi on a skill level is where Nicki is, I think it was telling when Cardi came in the way Nicki approached it. It's like, now we finally got somebody in the building that's going to be, on the scene too, and she didn't take it too well. That could have been an opportunity for her to just be like, yo, let's do work. Let me show you what I've been through and what you're about to see. And it didn't go that way.
People need not look at Nicki funny for that, though. That's the conditioning of what you're used to. When you're used to occupying, Mike, it's like this. If you're used to walking around your house by yourself all the time, every single day, day after day, and then one day, somebody who you don't know is in the house with you, walking around and occupying the same space, you're going to feel some type of way. That is human behavior. We're conditioned that way.
I also think the fact that Nicki is a writer and as a naturally skilled MC, she views it a certain way that she knows that Cardi don't write her stuff like that. So it's like, if y'all are going to sit here and replace me or whatever, at least let it be somebody who's worthy for that. Because she didn't act like that with Megan.
You want to know what? I think LeBron James, a lot of people in his camp spoke to, like, when Steph Curry was having his MVP runs, about how he felt like, a lot of stuff was given to Steph that was kind of like passed over, and LeBron would prefer that if you're going to say somebody after him is the best or has the mantle, that it be Kevin Durant, because he felt like Durant had earned it and had more of the position and skill set to be, replacing LeBron. So I think that's what Nicki's trying to say. It's like, well, y'all saying this person is replacing me. I'm really not seeing my replacement. The only problem and the difference with Nicki is that LeBron's absolutely right. Kevin Durant's like the clear replacement, not Steph. And we're seeing it kind of this year with how Durant's team looks without him and how Steph looks when he shoots too much early in the season without help. And Nicki doesn't have a Durant, somebody to really give it to that's, deserving, quite frankly.
I think she would have.
That's a top 10 type of, like there is. Yeah. So if I got Nicki 4 on my list objectively, Nicki is probably looking at it objectively like ahead. Well, I'm top 5, top 10. Who I'm having to pass the mantle to is in top 5, top 10, the same way LeBron looks at it, because LeBron looks at Durant like, no, that's top 10 type of player. That's who I'm passing it to. I'm passing it to another top 10 player.
I think she would have had no problem passing it on to Megan. Because, again, Megan had multiple mixtapes. Megan's proven that she can rap, and she really takes rapping serious. Maybe her, her content isn't vast or whatever. But when it comes to just being able to attack the track, and not having, others, quote unquote, ghostwriting for her or whatever, like, she's proven in that light. And I don't think she would have had an issue with that. I still feel I think it was unfair to Megan that they didn't give her the WAP song. Because the thing is, she actually had an album that was coming. And it actually had an album that was finished. Like, how do you not let her have that song? Cardi didn't have an album. Cardi hadn't dropped an album since 2018. So like somebody in the chat said, Cardi's more of a personality than a rapper.
I'm about to say, so what's going to move the meter? Cardi going to move the meter even more than Megan, because Cardi is considered to be an artist, but even at this point, personality first, as in part of the media cipher, part of the entity. So if she's actually on record, that's who they're going to jump behind, because that's how marketing works.
Leroy Green said, if Janelle Monáe rapped more, fire. Listen, I know everybody watches the show. Janelle, just flip it up for him one time. Do a rap album. Why not?
No, don't.
Yeah. No. Might as well. Why not?
Can't even get her to do an R&B album anymore. Y'all talking about getting her to do a rap album. What are y'all talking about?
Right. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Hollywood calls. Okay.
You ain't gotta crawl before you walk. We asking for stuff.
So you know what I'm thinking, and I guess I've never deduced to this because I've always been MC Light number one. I think Kim might be number one, man.
No, I told
All
you, Mike.
things considered, I think Kim might be number one.
We had a show last year where I told you personally, for me, it's Light, but if I'm talking objectively, it's Kim, and it's Kim with a little bit of space between Light and Latifah because of catalog.
Yeah.
Because her impact is so big, Mike, because you want to know what the most important thing that she actually did is that from the time hardcore, I'd say, came out to about the notorious KIM because of the rhetoric that she dispersed verbally, she desensitized everybody to the sexualization of women on record. So all these women that you hear on record that are able to flaunt their sexualization so freely and so openly, and we are not shocked by it, that's Kim. Because when Kim said it, the stuff Kim said the first 3-4 years she was out, it was like, oh, no chick had ever talked like that on record before. It's like, you gonna do what?
Well, you know what? All right, I'll say this.
Whoa.
I mean, Eazy-E had bitches with attitudes and all that stuff. But what I think we can say as far as Kim goes, she might be the first female rap superstar. Crossover superstar? I think she is.
But what's important about it is that what I'm saying is, in terms of, Mike, this is one of those technical things that belong to our culture. The way that she sexualized herself desensitized the genre some to make it easier for women to flaunt their sexuality openly and it be part of the game without them being called bitches and whores all the time. Like, it's part of the game now. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
She made it a part of the game. Part of how she made it part of the game, Mike, the records are dope. She could really rap her ass off. So the fact that she was sexualizing it, it's like, yo, but did you hear how she flipped it? Like, she's crazy with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, someone said they love the show, but that noise every second is annoying. You know what? I need to figure out how to mute that. That's the chat that's making that noise.
Hey, I find it rather soothing.
You're getting a lot of interaction, you know what I'm saying? Try to tone it out. For next show, I'll figure out how to mute it because I'm sure there's a way to mute it.
I heard that.
But yeah, so I think it might be Kim number one for me. Yeah. Number two, maybe Light. I don't know, man. I gotta think about this.
Latifah. Either way.
You going Latifah 3? Let's have this discussion.
Mike, my 3 is easy.
Let's have this discussion. You got Latifah over the Brat? Where does the Brat fall in all of this? Because we seem to forget her. She is the first female to go platinum. She can rap her ass off.
Yes.
She's had a pretty long career when you think about her peers.
Yes.
She has some classic songs.
Yes.
She has some big time features.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm just gonna easily say Latifah over Brat. I don't know.
I am, because of cultural significance and impact, where Brat actually loses most of her points, and why I probably would even slide Nicki ahead at 4 instead of 5, where I have the Brat, for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Not even personally, that's subjective too, Mike. I would have her, she would round out my top 5, because here's what you say, how you feel about Dirty Harriet is actually how I feel about Funknified. I think Funknified is still the best rap album a female has ever made. I think Hardcore is the only other album that's in the conversation of that for me, along with Rhapsody's Eve. Those are my top 3 female rap albums. I do have Dirty Harriet up there.
Where does Rhapsody fit in all of this?
She's in my top 10.
Okay.
I would put her ahead of people like Lauren and Eve about the work.
Grace says that Rhapsody is by far the greatest female lyricist ever.
She's not a better lyricist than Lauren.
Okay, but we're not counting Lauren. Kim birthed every female rapper after her, lyrics and style. Appreciate the super chat unknown name. He said he got Light at number 2 and Foxy at number 3.
No, see, here's the thing about Foxy, and I told you, Mike, I actually prefer Foxy. like just rhyme wise, like
Bar
when
for
she
bar.
rhymes, Mike.
Yeah.
Ooh,
She got the
like
voice, man. And
she's
got the
got the
flow.
voice, she's got the delivery, like she's got it all. The material's just not there, Mike. Because here's the thing: her best project to me is the project that people listen to the least. It's not Il Nana, it's not China Doll, Mike. Broken Silence is her best project, Mike. That's the one where she's just amazing as an MC. Like, how about this? I think 7 records of Broken Silence is the best 7 song stretch I've ever seen a female MC have on record.
Foxy is super
For
impressive.
Broken Silence. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I love the brat. I just feel like Foxy's material has possibly aged a little bit
Yeah, but does she have an album better?
better than Functified. This is the thing about the brat. And again, I want to reiterate, I love the brat. She was actually my favorite female rapper growing up. But when we start looking at everything, in context,
She
I,
doesn't have the impact of all the other people.
and you know why? Because I was about to get to that. I think that she just never really locked in on her identity sonically. And I think that when hardcore hit, we knew who Little Kim was, we knew what Little Kim was about. And so it's easy to have an impact where people are gonna follow that and try to do that. With the brat, it was like Functified was so G Funk influenced that if you try to follow that, you're doing something that's already been done and been done again.
Well, so when you talk about Kim made the baggy jeans go away, this is the evidence of that.
Yeah.
Because the Brat's whole style and sound had to change about Kim's arrival. And so when you're talking about identity, yes, some identity crisis going on. The skills are there, guest appearances are there, Functified stands. So, 5-ish to 10-ish. Like I would probably put Brat at 5 and Foxy at 6. But that's about Functified because it's a beginning to end player, and not a lot of female MCs have beginning to end players. She is one of the owners of those. I want you to understand, like I have Light and Latifah at 2 or 3. They don't have a Functified in their catalog, in my opinion. That's how dope Functified is.
I just had Mike H on the screen for the super chat. He said Light number 1, Queen Latifah number 2, Kim number 3, Nicki 4, Foxy Brown at 5, and Roxanne at 6.
Okay, you can go.
Ooh, we're not gonna give Eve any love. Okay.
Eve and Lauren gonna have to fall to the back about the catalog, Mike.
Eve got a catalog, right? I mean, she got Gangsta Lovin' and.
No, I mean she's got some catalog, Mike. Like she probably gonna, if we're being objective, she's gonna fall like 9 or 10.
People are asking where Missy is because obviously Missy is blaring. I'm gonna tell y'all this, and I've said this before. I think that when you talk about Missy, she has the best female rap catalog in hip hop. In my personal opinion, album for album, no.
Rap though.
Album,
Like,
that's the thing. It's not totally rap. No.
What she's doing, what her and Tim was. That's why I'm saying like there's like my God, I used to tell people there's rap, there's R&B, and then there's that shit up here that Missy and Timbaland are doing that we can't really fit into a box.
I'm gonna tell people what I couldn't wait to hear a Missy album. What?
I said I don't know what that was. It wasn't rap or R&B.
No, it was incredible. It was some new shit. It was the next level.
It was special. Yeah.
I remember when Missy would come out with albums, and me and my boy Melvin, man, we couldn't wait to hear what they were gonna freak us out with next.
Right.
So we didn't listen to Missy's album for the raps per se. We were just listening to it for a overall musical experience. So I think what we're talking about here is like, female MCs that we went to for actual rap, bars, lyrics, and stuff like that. So when it came to Missy albums, like The Real World, man, I was like, yo, I'd never heard anything like this before. And the features were important too. So it was like, shit, Eminem killed it on there. I give him props. Redman, the record with him. All of My Grill with Big Boy, incredible. And then when she came back with Miss E So Addictive, I was actually listening to that last week while we were cleaning up the house. I'm listening to some of these songs like, what were they on? Like every time they came out with an album, they were hitting us with new sounds, and not even just new sounds when it comes to Timbaland, but the way that Missy was able to approach these songs. She
So
wasn't, because somebody in the barbershop today tried to give Drake credit for making it cool to sing and rap at the same time. Missy been doing that. And Missy was mixing it in so well, you didn't even really know what the raps were or the singing was.
Mike, how old were you when The Rain came out? How old were you when The Rain came out?
That was 97. I was like 15.
Okay, Mike, when The Rain came out, that shit was so
Yeah, it was so left field. It
next
changed
level.
everything.
It was Mike, because it probably took you a month. You probably spent the first month trying to figure out what she was doing and why you liked it so much. You were trying to figure out, like she made you question yourself as a listener. It's like, this shit is dope. Why do I like it? Because it's really, really simple how she's formatting it, but something about what she, and it just working.
It's that bounce that Tim provides, and she's like the only person.
She wrote the bounce. Yeah,
I was gonna say she's the
different.
only person that could hear that crazy stuff he was doing with beats and actually make sense of it.
Yeah,
She was the only person.
Yeah, I mean, she made his stuff make sense. It's like, this don't make no sense unless she's doing what she's doing on it. That's what The Rain is.
I mean,
she's
because
just kind of playing with the beat, Mike. She's just playing with it, like vocally and style wise. It's like, ooh, that shit is fly.
Because even outside of that, just her writing for Aaliyah and Genuine around that stuff, like people couldn't hear those songs, especially in R&B, and it's easy to look at it now and say, yeah, I get it, but there was no R&B that sounded anything like that. She's hearing these songs and is able to make sense of it as a rapper and as a singer.
And a songwriter, Mike, those are three different zones.
So I don't even know where to put her on a list. I mean, she's somewhere else.
No, like I said, Mike, about 3-4 years, it's like what they did was just like, you just kind of like lightning in a bottle, Mike.
I personally think that they're the best rapper, producer, artist-producer combination hip-hop's ever had. I think that rapper-producer, I kind of got to get at the Dre and Snoop because, again, it's rap. But when we talk about just creatively, what they brought to the table, they're an incredible match.
No, I mean, as far as like modern day black music, hip-hop, and R&B, they are the creative tandem.
Yeah, they're the most creative people hip-hop's ever seen. Yeah. Straight up. So I don't know if that answers people's question about us having Missy somewhere, but I don't even know how to really rate her fairly. Because
just don't put a star by her name and say she's special, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, because let's think about it, though. How many people came to Missy at that point for a rap feature?
You want to know what's crazy? You want to know what the best Missy moment might be? It might be on Ladies' Night where she's talking that shit, where she's like, you're not just about to be using me for singing hooks. And she starts rapping, Mike.
And dancing and everything.
Right. It's like the whole repertoire is on display. So you get the singing part, you get the songwriting part, you get the performance part, you get the charismatic part with the shit talking, and then you get the bars. That's what I mean. She's somewhere else.
And she did that on Nicole, Make It Hot, too.
Make It Hot. Mike, that's one of my favorite records ever.
That's
like,
incredible.
That might be my favorite one-hit wonder record, Mike. I still play Make It Hot.
Great record.
Great record.
What happened to Mocha? Mocha started off that song. But anyway, you can catch me any day.
Any day. Not sipping Tennessee and my feet skipping yay. Gotta hold this stuff.
Yeah. I used to think Mocha was whack, man. You know, I didn't know how whack people thought Magoo was. I thought Magoo was all right. And I'm a Q-Tip fan.
Nah, he wasn't that dope, Mike, but they were special, so it didn't matter.
Somebody said I sounded like Magoo on the song that I posted, the old song. They said a combination of Andre 3000, Q-Tip, and Magoo.
So, I mean, so people aren't totally wrong. People like Mike, when you were younger, you sounded very, very much like Andre to me the first time I heard you rap. I was like, that's ATL and Andre right there. Okay.
Yeah, it was big influence. I think that my whole thing was when it came to that particular song y'all heard, my group had just broke up. I was in a duo, and I'd always said, if I was to ever do a solo thing, which I had no intentions of doing, I would do like Q-Tip did when he left Tribe and do something totally off base and like Vibrant thing. And that's kind of where that approach came from.
Job well done. You got some bars.
Ah, man, appreciate that. Quick story. Now on to some more new music.
Right.
What did you think about the YG record with Moneybagg Yo and J. Cole?
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Huh.
Little Friday motivation.
What's the name of the record again?
I knew you about to ask that. That's why I'm already in the process of pulling it up right now.
We're on live TV right now, so we're gonna make sure, and I'm sure people in the chat could tell us, but let me see if I can find it first.
Scared Money.
Scared Money. I liked it. But again, I think the highlight, I think everybody's highlight, J. Cole, man. And not just for what he's done on this song. Last week, he gave us a feature with Benny, which I went back and listened to again. He killed.
Can we pause? Can we pause?
Go ahead.
Last week, I was up here saying, I'm like, that's a wash. People was like, Benny killed him. I'm like, no, he didn't. Go listen to the record again. And now you're coming back a week later and you're not even calling it a wash. You're like, Cole got Benny.
Yeah,
and I said that he may have him depending on who you like more. I said who you like more on this record is who got it, which is why I called it a wash.
Yo, man, J. Cole was spitting.
He crazy on that record.
He's crazy on that record. And so he shows you that one week. And then the next week, he's giving you this verse on, which I think is an okay YG record, but it doesn't cause for extreme bars. Snapping.
No. It's not a bar song.
It's not a bar song.
It's a bar song. All right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about what you talk about a couple weeks ago with his agility and him being so well-rounded. This is the evidence. Remember I was asking you for evidence about Nicki? We don't need no evidence of J. Cole's agility. We just got it back-to-back weeks.
I'm a person that has repeatedly said on this show that I don't even think that album for album that J. Cole and Kendrick are in the same class. And I didn't understand the comparisons. Album for album. But now, just with the activity that J. Cole has exhibited over the past 2-3 years and just being able to get on records with pretty much any and everybody and spit. I mean, he's on the Wale record doing this thing too. Crazy. It's like, I got to give it up, man. Like, I ain't saying who's better or who's not, but if somebody feels like J. Cole's better than Kendrick and they're a rap fan, and the proof is there, because J. Cole's not going to go on a record just fucking with you and singing and doing whatever. He's going to get on there and rap, no matter who you are. You could be 21 Savage, you could be Benny the Butcher, you could be YG, and his versatility, it's like something from the 90s, honestly.
Yes.
This is what I was telling you offline. Even with the break that Kendrick has, right? And I don't want to make this about Kendrick because I do want to praise J. Cole, and we should talk about his overall standing since we talked about Nicki's. But even with Kendrick doing this break, and I get it when people say that the way Kendrick puts together albums and formulates albums, it takes time because he usually goes in a theme format, similar to like a stage play in a sense. I get that. That doesn't happen overnight. But one thing he can be doing is getting on these records with other MCs and doing his thing if he's smoking on people's top 5.
So, Mike, do you know what we're really saying with all these J. Cole features? You know what the underlining, what the real undertone is?
What's up?
Stop rapping over your beats so much, because every time you rap over other people's beat, you sound like somebody who could be arguably the best MC in the game. And when you rap like this over other people's beats, for people who are fans of yours that say that you are better than Kendrick Lamar, you give them evidence on all these guest verse appearances. Mike, I told you his best verse to me is a guest appearance. It's on Jesus Piece. It's on the Games album. It's Pray. He shows up and shows out all the time on everybody's shit. but he's usually writing somebody else's beat. I want to hear him writing somebody else's beats for his next project, because you want to know what? Had he done that during these dark ages that I was prefacing earlier, them ages wouldn't have been so dark, because it would have been more competitive catalog-wise between him and Kendrick. He just needs to rap over different producers' beats who are elite. It doesn't matter who it is. He's showing you right now, like in the last 2 weeks, it don't matter who the rapper is. It don't matter who the producer is. If the rapper's elite, if the producer's elite, I can still get on the record and be the reason that the record's being talked about. Apply that pressure, applying pressure, pun intended.
He
Apply
stepped
that
it.
pressure to your album.
You know, he stepped it up for the people that are on the record, right? Like, he knew that YG and, you know,
Always
respectfully, YG and Moneybagg Yo, they're going to do what they do. He spit some bars, but it wasn't to the level of the ones that he gave on that Benny record, because he knows what Benny does. And that right there just lets you know that, and it's not even done in a way where, again, I hate to keep bringing this person up, where it's like, I'm going to go out here and give you a 32-bar verse and I'm going to start rapping fast and I'm going to try to kill whatever. It's not done in an Eminem fashion. It's done in a way where you're just doing your thing and you're just at a level, man. Like, you don't even have to force feed us the fact that you're spitting. Just listen to the verse.
There's a craftsmanship to that, to the versatility that he's showing. There's a craftsmanship and a technical side to that as well.
And
Like,
you know, it's
like
interesting too, though. I mean, not to cut you off, because somebody in the chat, they're saying what I've been saying for the past year or two, whatever, 3 years, that Kendrick's catalog just trumps J. Cole's.
It does.
It does. What else, though? Like, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are the other criteria? Like, let's look at this, like, how not Cool G Rap, how Cool Mo D had his list, right? How he had his different criteria and all that. What else outside of catalog is Kendrick beating J. Cole in?
Oh, no. I'm grabbing my pen for the first time in this episode. That is fascinating.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
No.
we already got it. Catalog, you got that.
Catalog is
Everything
Kendrick.
else, what is it?
Who's a better storyteller?
Kendrick's a better storyteller.
Who's a better lyricist?
Shit. I think Kendrick is, personally. What do y'all think in the chat?
When you say that, what makes you say that?
See, I'm going on some, I think I'm going more so on Lyrical Miracle stuff, and I might be wrong.
I think, and most people are going to be surprised to hear me say this, I think this is the closest to a wash as we're going to get between these two, because I think the advantages are succinct on both sides, on both levels. I do think this is a wash, because for the people who think Kendrick is a better lyricist, I understand exactly what they're talking about. But on the other side, for the people that think Cole is a better lyricist, I understand exactly what they're talking about.
I mean,
too.
based on the people in the chat, it's looking pretty much a wash. It's back and forth.
Yeah, I told you, this is going to be the closest thing to a wash. So who has a better delivery? Are we putting delivery and flow together? A lot of people do, a lot of people don't.
I think those two are together. I was thinking voice, and J. Cole definitely has the voice.
Cole has the voice for sure.
Yeah.
Does he have a better delivery?
I think Kendrick has the better delivery. Look inside my parking garage and see a collage of every person I despise since the moment I turned 5. Calculate my steps and strategically took my time. Even falling off, I land on the ass of Nicki Minaj.
Okay. Impact.
Impact has to go to Kendrick.
Okay. So what other categories do you want to cover?
Live performance. Versatility. We got another super chat. Let me see what Ray had to say. I got to put this on the screen real quick. Super chat from Ray Realm. Appreciate that. He said there's always a perpetual bleeping sound in the audio. It occurs every video except for when you brothers did the roundtable. Well, we did that on a different program. I'm going to find out how to actually mute this. The beeping that you're getting is the chat. And people are going crazy in the chat. We do want y'all to continue to comment, but try to ignore that right now, if you could. I'll find out how to, mute that. Unless you want me to try to find out how to mute it now.
We're not doing that. We're not. Friday.
Go ahead.
Versatility is cold.
Versatility is definitely cold. Okay, so
You
go
want to know
over
what I
those.
thought about? No, Mike, can I bring up something
Go
that
ahead.
I think needs to maybe be considered? And I know some people are going to get knocked for it, Mike, but it does matter. We might need to post date it like post 93, maybe 92. But Mike, your special guest appearances matter because I told you, like, I did a
They
dig
do.
last night. I pulled up Nas's guest appearances. I pulled up Jay guest appearances. And it's like I pulled up 33 Nas guest appearances. And I was like, yo, I'm like, this shit crazy. I'm like, this shit greatest hits. I'm like, and he's been on more bangers than I realized. Like, I forgot in his prime how much like industry work he did. Like, you know, with big people, like The Love Is All We Need with Mary, the joint with Mariah, the Sincerity joint with DMX that like slaps super, super hard. You
Okay,
know, so
guys.
like your guest appearances matter, Mike. Even Rakim, like when I think about Rakim, it's like I be mad at him because he don't do guest shots, Mike. But when he does guest shots, Mike, he shows up. Hoodlum soundtrack, Truth Hurts, the Jody Watley remix. Like when he shows up, he shows out.
Can I announce it to the people that you want to challenge? You want us to challenge Rap Roundtable to a featured versus. So we're gonna use nothing but Nas features and let them use J features. Is that correct?
Mike, we can actually run it however they want to run it. We can run another 20-pack back, or we can go guest appearances because I'm gonna fade them on guest. Mike, we was talking about Missy earlier, right? Hot Boys remix. That's what I mean.
Somebody
Like
just put that in the chat.
Mike, Nas did more than industry bangers that slapped than people realize. And much like I keep saying, those records held up longer than a lot of those J records. Like I was playing Thank God I Found You with Mariah Carey and Joe and the Nas shit like at like 2 in the morning last night. I was like, oh yeah,
that was
I
a
forgot
dope
this was a
one.
banger.
That was a
Forgot
dope
it was a
one.
banger.
That was a dope
Right.
one.
So
I forgot
he's got
about
some-
that.
Right. So
Son
he's got
Scoop the
like,
hot one.
yeah, so he's got some stuff. Mike, you remember Blood Money Part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, he's got
Like
That's
I
why
said, Fat Joe, John Blaze.
John
But again,
Blaze,
if
Mike.
we're gonna do this feature versus, I don't want to give them too much sauce. But
Mike, it doesn't even matter. That's what I'm trying to say.
man, Jay got a lot of great features, man. I ain't
That's
even gonna
weird,
front.
Mike. Thank God I found your remix or Drunk in Love. Right.
If I do say so myself, you know what? I'll say this, man, and I don't want to get too far off. I never liked Jay-Z and Beyonce collaborations, man. I don't.
Mike, ever since he said The Rock handle like Van Exel, that was like the last time it was hot. When he said that on Crazy in Love, it ain't been dope since then.
I remember hearing Crazy in Love for the first time.
Grade You was dope.
This was back when radio had songs first. Remember that? I was in the car and they kept hyping it up like, we got that new Beyonce featuring Jay-Z. You got to stay tuned, yada, yada. And I remember when it got played, I'm sitting here waiting for J-Verse. I was underwhelmed, man. But little did I know, that's probably one of the best verses you're going to get from them two when they're together. I think the best he performed on a song with his wife is Deja Vu. He went crazy on Deja Vu. Ho, flow, someone use your role. Baby girl, you should already know it's, hey, it don't sound as great as I thought it did coming out of my mouth. Now, I think it's the second verse where he was like,
he's the best salesman ever. It's not as good after he sold you the product.
He can sell water to a well, man.
He can sell water to a well. He's a hustler. He's the best salesman hip hop's ever seen.
Yeah, other than that, and I really don't love the Drunken Love verse. I think Hollywood, the song that's on Kingdom Come, I think that could possibly be Jay-Z's worst song.
It's up there.
It's up there.
Up there. There's a lot of 444 stuff to throw in there. But yes.
People are saying Upgrade You is fire.
No,
you like Upgrade You too.
I just said, except for Upgrade You. Mike, to be honest with you, his verse on Upgrade You is his best verse. Like, that's Jay on there. That's like the guy that's on Imaginary Player is grown up now, but like it's the same player though.
Everybody's saying Upgrade You. I like the Carter's album though. I see Ape Shit here. I like the Carter's album.
Ape Shit was overrated, but it's a dope record.
Ape Shit was written by Offset, right? And the Migos wrote.
Something like that. That's how the legend of it goes.
No, I heard the demo track. Yeah, I heard the demo track. Offset wrote Beyonce's verse. I know that.
So we got 8 categories in, Mike. We got Kendrick got 5, Cole got 2, and we got a wash for the lyricists. You want to do 2 more categories?
I'm trying to think. What were Kumo D's categories?
I think originality was on there, or creativity.
Let me see what his were. Creativity. We got to get after Kendrick too.
He made "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe."
Yeah, we got to get that to him too. Okay, I got the report card right here. It says vocabulary, articulation, creativity, originality, versatility, voice, records, stage presence, sticking to a theme, innovative rhymes. Yeah, I think based on this, Kendrick would win that.
Hold on, who do you have for articulation?
Articulation, I got Cole.
For records, you got Kendrick?
Yeah.
Innovation, Kendrick?
Yeah.
Creativity, Kendrick?
Yeah.
What else?
Vocabulary, I got Kendrick.
No, I'm not giving him that, actually. I'm going to watch that.
Okay.
Because your vocabulary ties back into who you are as a lyricist, and they both do that as a high level. Like what Cole just did on the Benny record, that's the vocabulary coming out.
No, you're right.
So, yeah.
Originality, man, I might give that to Cole because I hear a lot of 3000 and Eminem and Kendrick. Is that fair?
Agreed. Even though Cole is off the Nas tree, you don't hear the Nas effect, really.
No, right. Voice,
that's Cole.
Gave that to Cole. Versatility,
that's Cole.
We already did creativity, right?
Yeah, that's Kendrick.
Okay. Stage presence, Kendrick. Oh, is it Cole? Because Cole puts on a great show.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I would actually give that to Cole slightly, though, because Kendrick's pretty dope, too.
But see, Cole performs more. He tours more.
And that's why we're going to give him the edge.
Yeah, we got to. Innovating rhymes.
That's Kendrick.
Yeah.
Duck work, Mike.
Yeah. Ray Realm says, let me put him on the screen real quick. He said if Jay-Z and Nas were to do a versus, it would do themselves as well as the culture and a disservice to contain it to 20 songs. I believe they should do a B-side, 15, and a big record, 15, 30 or more songs. So like the B-side's 15 and you want to do hit records 15. I see what you mean.
I like that motion, actually.
Listen, I was reading some of the comments and some of the things that people had to say about the matchups. Just kind of, I guess, reading people's response to our actual recap. And I think they got it confused saying that we told Rap Roundtable that they couldn't play the jiggy stuff. We didn't say that. What we said was the jiggy stuff does not play well against It Ain't Hard to Tell. So you might not want to play that stuff.
No, Mike, that's why I want to do another 20, because I want them to play that stuff. I want them to play that stuff and watch what happens. Like hold on, Mike. I want them, because here's the thing. If we do it again, they can't use the records that they used, and we can't. So we don't have any Illmatic records left except for Represent and One Time for Your Mind, and we're still going to fade you.
You're that confident in that? I don't know.
Mike.
There's a lot that they didn't use. They didn't use Can I Live?
Right. We didn't use Street Dreams. We didn't use the Street Dreams remix. We didn't use Live Nigga Rap. We didn't use Affirmative Action. We didn't use The Setup. We didn't use I Gave You Power. We didn't use Do Rags. We didn't use Purple. We didn't use My Way. We didn't use Find Your Wealth. I can keep going, Mike. I ain't talking about the guest appearances yet. Mike, we didn't use Body in the Trunk off Noriega's album. Well, they don't want this smoke, Mike.
But if I knew we were going to possibly do another one, I would have approached this a little different.
No. It doesn't matter, Mike. They can approach everything all they want. Mike, I seen the way Sincere was writing. They They already know the catalog. They already know what's coming. Because Sincere's going to sit up there and line it up. Be like, guys, they've already used this. It was written time. It's lost tapes time. Mike, we ain't pulled one track off of KD2 or Magic.
No.
Mike, what I've been saying all that
or
year.
KD.
What does Jay have? Mike, and I'm going to say it again. What does Jay-Z have for Death East? I'm waiting. We didn't use Death Row. Use Death Row East. So just left that out there. I let them have it. I'm like, that's new classic shit for you. I'm going to keep that. You can have that. Store Run. Can I introduce you to Store Run? Some modern day classic stuff. 4016 build. Anybody.
You know what? If we're doing that, I kind of want to play the music then. You know, because I think that.
I want to play the music this time.
Yeah. Or find a way to do so.
Mike, because we actually held more bangers than they did. Like, as far as Nas shit that bangs, we held more than they did. We just played Illmatic shit and won. We can play the shit that slaps. Favor for a Favor with Scarface, anybody? And interest you in Favor for a Favor. Mike, how about New York State of Mind Part 2, Mike?
Also, now you like New York State of Mind Part 2. I love that record.
No, Mike. I like it in Part 2 of The Battle.
Yeah, no, that shit was hard. Let's talk about this 2 Chainz project.
Mike, there's a couple primo records I ain't even named yet. What are we doing?
2 Chainz dropped an album today.
He did.
He was saying it was going to be his last trap album. Whatever that means or whatever that entails. But yeah, he dropped the album today, 12-track album. It's called Dope Don't Sell Itself. What was your first reaction to the album?
I really enjoyed it the first time, Mike, and then you like ruined my day. Maybe it's because I was riding on the south side, listening to 2 Chainz.
You were in his hood, yeah.
I was in his hood today, Mike. I rode right past his hood today, like no lie. So maybe I was just feeling the vibes.
I'm a 2 Chainz fan, and maybe that worked against me listening to it.
I was like, "Hey, Mike, this is a pretty dope project." He was like, "No, not really."
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Let's go to the track list. Like, what songs did you rock with the most?
Hold on, I'm about to pull them up right now.
What did you think of the Vlad TV song with Stove God Cooks?
You don't like it?
That was one of the better ones. That's why I brought that up.
Mike, I thought that was one of the highlights of the album. Hold on. Let's pull it up.
I think quick. Kingpin Ghostwriter featuring Lil Baby were one of the highlights of the album, too.
Yes, it was. Mike, the way it starts, Bet It Back. Bet It Back is tough. You don't like Bet It Back, the way the album starts?
I just was expecting better bars from my man 2 Chainz. Man, I big up 2 Chainz as a lyricist that people don't view as a lyricist. He's a stage stiller, and I just didn't get that here. So,
Mike, everybody's got an expiration date on their scene stealing bars and versus potential. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I always, I can remember when Naughty by Nature released Feel Me Flow?
Yeah.
You about I was like, oh, the hit level not the same.
Lyrically, I'm like, spitting. Okay, right. Go ahead.
Right. Like, I'm like, Tretch's lyrical tools are there, but some of the hit-making tools are starting to fade. See, on this album, the hit-making tools aren't necessarily fading. Some of the lyrical tools are fading. But that
what do you think is a hit on here? I know Miss Lynette said she liked Free BG. What?
Get out of my head, Lynette. That's where I was going. Free BG might be the highlight of this album to me. You don't like Free BG?
I need to go back and listen to it again.
Free BG is hard, Mike. That was my highlight. I think you need to listen to Bet It Back again, too. Because here's the thing. What I like about Chainz as a lyricist is that he's entertaining, articulate, and funny, and wordy all at once. This album does give you a lot of that. Here's what I will tell you. You feel like this is a step down from the last album.
That's I do think, and I was just about to look up the last album, so help me God. I feel like the album that he released last year was much better. Much better. It actually made me go back and listen to that album just to make sure I wasn't tripping. Like Free Lighter, Ziploc with Kevin Gates. Like these are right when you hear them, like they just go. And that maybe that's the thing about this album. Because when I listened to it for the first time, I didn't get anything from it. And I usually do when I listen to 2 Chainz for the first time. I usually don't have to go back and listen to 2 Chainz.
Okay, so Mike, also too,
Mm-hmm.
somebody at this stage of the game in his career, he's flooded us with a lot of material the last few
He
years.
has. He has.
So the last two albums were better. That makes this album sound worse than what it is. Because the last two were better. It's not just the one before. Hold on. What is it? Rapper Go to the League was the
Yeah,
2 albums ago.
that was good. Yeah,
That shit was tough, Mike.
yeah, that was tough.
So there was stuff on there that I thought was borderline greatest hits material from him on there. Okay? And so I think what we're seeing is that there's not even any borderline greatest hits material from here, but it's still a solid effort. I might have been Southside influenced today.
You know what I didn't like about this, and this is the critique that I walked away with, similar to the Nicki song with Lil Baby, which we didn't talk too much about, but we can get into it briefly. Let me see this track list. We got Moneybagg Yo on here, Beat King. We got Lil Baby. We got Roddy Ricch. I thought that song was cool. Got 42 Dub, Young Boy, NBA Young Boy. We got Lil Durk. Got Sway Lee, Stove, and Jacquez.
So can we stop
I
for a
feel
second?
like this is my critique.
Go ahead.
This is my critique. I
think it's
feel
going to be
like
the same.
one of the things that I praised 2 Chainz for a couple of episodes back was him being so current, and you could tell what the current scene is like looking at the people who are on his album. I don't think he meshes with this current scene as well as he has in previous albums. And I think a lot of it sounds kind of forced to me. And kind of like the Nicki thing with Lil Baby, I feel like if you're not really out here ingratiated in what's going on, your songs aren't going to come out as, they're not going to sound as fluid. They're not going to sound like you really out here building with these people. Like, I would love for 2 Chainz to make records with people who are in similar situations as him, like a Juicy J or a Wiz Khalifa. I think they would turn out much better. So it doesn't sound like a natural fit to me. It sounds like more of an industry pick. This person's popping. Let's get them on, try to get something going, as opposed to previous features or working with somebody. It's like, this is somebody I fuck with. This is somebody I'm out here rocking with. I'm out in the clubs with. Whatever. You know what I mean?
No, I do what you mean. To your critique, I want to kind of piggyback off of, because I think, Mike, you and I, we're in the same neighborhood about the critiques of this album. We're just on a different street. So let me explain and kind of piggyback and navigate through a different street for you. All of those things that you are saying are probably the reason that I'm feeling the way that I feel, because here's my problem with this album, Mike, and my number one problem. And I just wrote it down in my head as soon as I listened to it for the second time after you told me it wasn't that good. Well, it's not that he doesn't fit into this format, in my opinion. And it's not that he doesn't fit with the artist, in my opinion. I don't think the guest artist on this album did that good of a job, Mike.
But that kind of goes together, though, right? Like,
no, that's why I said we're in the same neighborhood.
So the intensity on their end isn't there either.
Right, because when I went back and listened the second time around, my takeaway from all the guest appearances was like, every last one of you are better than this, have done better than this, and normally do better than this. And so when I can say that about almost every single artist that stepped on the track on this album, does some of the responsibility fall on the artist because it's his project? Absolutely. Yeah. But also too, Mike, this is not practice. This is the league. And so when you show up to perform, if I'm used to you performing at a certain level, like I'm used to Durk and Lil Baby performing at a certain level right now, where if you don't make me stop or make me listen again or turn my head or make me interested, like Lil Baby did on 24K Jacket on Gunna's album, then it is going to make me pause just a little bit and take a little bit of that flex off. Exactly. A little bit. I'm going to take a little bit off of Chainz just because I don't feel like everybody who came out to the party properly.
Lil Baby dialed it in. He dialed it in for Nicki. I think he actually did a little bit better on the Nicki record than he did on this record.
I
But
think
I
he's
told
working on his
you,
album, and you ain't about to get no dope shit from him. That's going on his album because he hadn't released the album in almost 2 years.
you know who does get dope shit from everybody? Future,
Cole,
Future, and Thug, because
it's
those
not always
guys.
dope, Mike. It's not always dope, but I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? You're not gonna get a lackluster effort.
You're gonna get their best,
Yes.
even if it
Because they
don't pop the way it
understand
should.
the moment. It's a level of, I don't even want to say respect, but just creatively. I had this argument in the or this debate in the barbershop today. They were saying who's more impactful, Future or Drake? I say Future all the way. He actually
Future.
got sons out here who are running the game. Who are Drake's sons?
Mike,
Does he have any?
Mike, what Nas say on 4016 building? I got so many kids in the game. It's like a gender revealing. Like Future, one of the people that can lay claim to that. Because when I look at Lil
Future
Yachty,
got listen. Future got
when I look at
Gunna.
Lil Uzi
He
Vert,
got Lil Baby. He
when I
got
look at
Lil
Migos,
Uzi. He got
Migos,
Thug.
Mike,
Even
got
when
Migos,
rest in peace to
got Migos
Juice
and Thug,
World.
Mike.
Juice
Got
World.
Migos and Thug.
Yeah, he got Young Thug. Juice World said it was a dream to make a mixtape with Future. It's biggest influence. You know what I'm saying? These are people who are not just side acts. These are people who are franchise acts for labels.
Yeah.
Drake ain't got no sons out here like that. And when Drake needs a hit, who's he going to? Future.
Way too sexy.
Who's his biggest hit right now? And his hit in 2020, he went to Future and Thug again for D4L.
What I tell you when that record dropped, Mike, I was like, this shit slaps.
Yeah.
Slaps.
But with that being said, though, and I think that, 2 Chainz has a huge impact out here, too, but I think for some of the people that he worked with, they may not see him like that because of the type of work they put in on the project. So like you said, they didn't deliver. They didn't feel the intensity of the moment.
I'm going to tell you what. Everything that you're saying about Drake and Future is true. I got a quick story for you.
Hold on real quick. I want to get to this comment. Masa says, Drake doesn't have offsprings yet. What you mean? When is he going to have them? He's been here since 2009.
Yeah, but I say,
and he's the biggest in the game.
13.
When are they coming? When are the kids coming? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mike, we were burying my cousin 5 years ago. And I was with my family. And I was the OG. We were 2 cars deep. I'm the oldest dude between both whips. I'm with my cousin. It's her mother that had just passed. She's driving her whip. I'm in the passenger seat. My younger sister and brother are in the back. Jumpman comes on, Mike. Our other cousins are in the car next to us. They all go ape shit. We just got done burying somebody and everybody been quiet and in a mood. Jumpman, Mike. Future, Mike. Every time, because Mike, I'm a student of the game because Lil Sis said something to me. She was like, you not rocking with us, bro. And I'm like, it's not my thing. I'm like, but I'm there because y'all are there because I'm watching them say every single word Future is saying. Like, we over here in the car, my 2 cousins are over here singing every word. My cousin who's just buried her mother is singing the word. My siblings are in the back singing the words. And I was like, oh, this nigga's special. Because he got my family on lock. These are the cats I schooled. I'm with my young G's, and they on Future shit. And we riding out in Charlotte, and this is who they wanted.
Even when you talk about that project they did together, Drake needs Future way more than Future needs Drake. When does Future really call on Drake to be on his shit? It never really happens.
They were saying all of Future's parts. That's the part that stayed with me where I was like, oh, he's special, because Lil Sis had been putting me on since Dirty Sprite. She used to come to the crib after high school like, that Future, Coop, that Future.
Miss Lynette says what I said. She said, I only like Life is Good when the beat change and Future comes in. I agree. I fast forward through.
I'm going to have to concur on this.
I'm just saying, But again, I think you kind of measure impact by how many offsprings you got out there. And to me, it's not even comparable. And that's why Future always gets everybody's best. I think that 2 Chainz could have picked some people who were popping now, but picked guys that, he was had a little bit more chemistry with. There's a lack of chemistry on these features. And
Yes,
especially
there we
for
go.
it to be such an epic moment, because I think he said it's going to be his last trap album or whatever. I don't know, man. This seems kind of rushed, direction a little off, and like you said, the people who were on it didn't really bring their best. They just dialed it in.
They gave Chainz a verse like Chainz was normal. Chainz not normal.
No.
Yeah.
He means a lot.
No, he does.
Well, from one feature to another, what did you think about the Nicki and Lil Baby song?
I didn't. What did you think? I didn't think much.
I was disappointed, man, because Nicki had been pumping this song up all week. And you know how artists do. They get on their social medias. They do a whole bunch of, I don't want to say press. Press now is actually somebody getting on the Instagram live, right? Like she was doing some lives, talking to people she normally doesn't talk to. I thought she was actually going to drop a full effort. And yeah, dropped this song. And I don't know, man. It really didn't do much for me. Again,
Let's bring it full circle if we can, Mike.
Go ahead.
Lil' Kim was at this stage in her career. She also reached out to the person who was the hottest rapper in the game at the time. And you know what they made, Mike? They made Magic Stick.
Oh, is that? I don't think that's the stage that she's at.
No, I'm trying to get it so that you understand what I'm
saying. Kim wasn't.
No.
Nicki's past that stage you're talking about.
Mike, she's on a track with Lil Baby because Lil Baby is where it's at right now. The same way Kim was on that track with 50 once upon a time because 50 was where it's at. Now, what I'm trying to express to you is that what did the artist do with the moment?
Speaking of which, in Nicki's time out here doing her press, she alluded to the fact that she would do a versus.
Magic Stick, just pumped out.
She said she would do a versus. And she said it was 2 people she could do a versus with or something like that. Listen, this is the thing, Nicki. It's either Kim or nothing. It's either Kim or nothing.
Mike.
It's either Kim or nothing.
Mike, the Kim Nicki versus is going to go the way the Nas fans scored the Nas Jay-Z versus. It's going to be like 17-3, but real life.
We need a Nicki Minaj and Lil' Kim versus.
No, we don't, Mike. That's what I keep trying to say. No, we don't.
Look, I think that Nicki is very confident in herself. In the run that she's had, I think that Nicki believes that she is the greatest female MC of all time. Do you not think that?
Mike, she doesn't eat. Mike, her hits and the guest appearances. Mike, what does she have for the verse on I Can Love You? That's a scene stealer. That's what I'm saying. Kim seizes these moments like it's nobody's business. Like no other rap female ever has. Like in the big hip hop moments, she seizes it. Oh, like I'm on a track with Mobb Deep. It's the Quiet Storm remix. I need to get on my gully shit. Right. Oh, I'm on a track with Puff and the Locks and Big is coming after me. No, I'm on my rhyming shit. Like she seizes the moment. Dipping on your Ninja Honda with Tanisha and Rhonda. What?
Okay. Like, so you think that in a versus.
She do not want that smoke with Kim.
You think if Nicki lined up with Kim in a versus, that she's going to lose?
Kim's next best is Nicki's best. Like, how many licks can take Nicki shit off the board? How many licks isn't going to be in Kim's top 10? Maybe even 15, Mike. What are they going to do when Get Money drop?
Listen,
when
I want
to drop. When No Time drop.
I understand what you're saying.
Drop. Like when Ladies Night drop. When Quiet Storm remix drop. Where is the evidence that it's even going to be a competition?
Mr. H says Nicki would give Kim a L.
Nick, name 10 records. Name 10. I can.
There's a generation that feels different.
I can pick 50. I can pick 15 Kim records and let you pick 20 Nicki records, and I'm still gonna win. That's how I feel.
Cool. There's a generation that feels different.
No, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Music is music as it stands up over time. Music is music as it stands up over time.
Okay.
So what Stevie Wonder did in the 70s is comparable to what Prince and Michael Jackson did into the 80s because the music says so. That's why we compare them.
TD
Okay?
says Nicki will wash Kim. Did you see Kim
With
perform at Summer Jam?
what? With what? With what
I'm just telling you what
record?
the people are saying.
Mike, when All About the Benjamins drop, what does she have? When Quiet Storm drop, when No Time drops, when I Can Love You Better. Mike, I'm just naming a few records like off the top of my head. Mike, Players Anthem, Get Money and Get Money remix. I Need You Tonight. These are all better than shit Nicki's ever done. All of them.
I'm just sitting here sipping. I see Big Mama Thing in the chat. I think that's
Mama
great too.
Thing, Queen Bitch, Drugs, Mike, Crush on You.
Crush on You is a big one.
You don't want this smoke, Mike. No matter what people say, the jump off. Put your lighters up, Mike.
Put your lighters up is big.
Mike, she don't want this smoke, Mike. Magic, she don't want that smoke. Stop that. All of y'all saying Nicki.
I want to see it. Again,
I don't know why.
Just like this Jay and Nas thing, I want to see it because everyone feels that it's just such a foregone conclusion.
The Jay Nas is viable. This is not viable, Mike. I'm trying to tell you, it's not viable. Nicki don't have 20 songs. Like Nicki don't have 20 songs, and I'm telling you this because about like if Kim plays 20 songs, about 10 to 12 of those songs are moments that are important. You're not gonna win. You're not. You're not gonna win.
I agree with you.
You gonna win when Get Money drops? You gonna win when Players Anthem drop? No, you're not. Are you winning when No Time drops? No. Are you winning when Drugs or Queen Bitch or Crush on You drops? No. Quiet Storm remix? No. I Can Love You Better? No. Where's she gonna win at, Mike? When is she gonna get a win? That's what I'm saying. She's not gonna win till something like How Many Licks Get Played. We're gonna be on track 15.
I'm telling you, that's the only one I want to see. I don't want to see Nicki versus anybody else. If she does a versus, because Kim already put it out there about a year or so ago that she would do a versus with Nicki. So if Nicki says that she'll do this, let's make it happen. But you know what? I want to see Eminem in one first because everybody keep talking that shit. We need to see these things happen. We need because on paper, whatever. I want to see it. Because I kept reading these comments like, Eminem's going to wash Busta Rhymes, this and that. Or, this is what we were going to talk about too. You said that T.I. said that he wanted to do a versus with Eminem. And people were saying, oh, no, T.I., I don't know about that. Don't know about what?
I'm sorry, Mike. It was hard to hear you right now. I was rapping the lyrics to No Time in my mind, and I was thinking, what the hell is anybody talking about thinking Nicki wants some part of Kim? But anyway, on to the T.I. Eminem thing.
Midget Mike said, thanks for the super chat, by the way. He said, Kim can't play songs Big wrote. Who wins? And whatever.
Okay, let's have a quick history lesson. Once again, there are some references, and people seem to think that Big wrote hardcore. He's the executive producer of hardcore, the same way Puff is the executive producer of Ready to Die. So did he have influence? Yes. Did he help? Yes. You understand Nicki sat in the studio with Drake and Lil Wayne. You think she ain't had no help?
I don't. I think Nicki wrote her stuff. But let's go on to this T.I. and Eminem thing.
Mike, if she did step in there with them all these years, and she didn't have any help, that's why her ass about to lose 15-5.
I tell you what, in my personal opinion, this might be controversial, but no, listen to me. In my personal opinion, I think it's more viable to think that Nicki wrote some of Drake's rhymes other than the other way around.
Mike, and what I'm saying,
who has a proven ghostwriter? Who has a proven questionable pen? Not her. We heard reference tracks.
Let's say this again. Players Anthem, Get Money. I Need You Tonight. No Time.
I like how you switched the subject. I was talking about who's more likely to have a ghostwriter between Nicki and Drake.
No. I'm not. I don't even want to have ghostwriter conversation because here's the thing about that conversation. The other guy tell Hov don't pass the crown so soon unless he got a crown for every writer in the room.
Exactly.
There's too many spirits on these ghost written tunes, so you can't crown an heir till you seance the room. Now, if we live in a culture where the women usually have ghostwriters more than the men, and we already have smoke about the two men next to her having ghostwriters, and y'all are looking at me like she wrote it. I want you to understand what y'all are doing and what y'all are saying. In a culture
No.
where the women usually have the ghostwriters for the men, these men have had ghostwriters and we know it. And y'all don't think she had no ghostwriters, but she was part of the same exact team the entirety of the time. All the ghostwriting smoke about them was going on.
Well,
What are y'all
who
doing?
wrote her stuff? We
What
know
are
it was
y'all
Gilly.
doing?
No, we know it was Gilly for Wayne, and we know it was
What are we doing?
what's his name for
The
Drake.
whole writing team for all the artists. So writing team for all the artists, not just the male artists. When is there a writing team for the male artist when the biggest earner in the room is a female?
Is she? Was she the biggest earner?
Oh yeah, Mike, she's the biggest earner.
No, Drake and Wayne were really big. I don't know about that. I think that's why Drake's been able to keep his hits going because he has had some help. Because
let me tell you something, Mike, about how this world works. Women like Nicki are bigger earners. End of the story.
Okay, I see where you're going. What I was going to say, I spoke to somebody who is in that camp over there with Quentin Miller and all of them, and I asked, like, why did Drake even enlist the help of Quentin Miller for If You're Reading This It's Too Late if he is a writer? And nobody had an answer. Like, I guess he was trying something. I don't know. Like, anyway.
Well, it goes all about, it goes back to your credibility, Mike, because here's the thing about it. It's like, you've bought it multiple times. It's like Kanye wrote Lucifer pretty much and served it up to Jay. But we're very, very clear that he had nothing to do with Reasonable Doubt or Volume 1. So we know who Jay is, right? Part of that is because we don't know who Drake is as an MC. As he hasn't been so all-time great as an MC that we're willing to look at something like that and be like, we can't do that because he hasn't been dope enough like that to do that as an MC. We never bring up the Lucifer thing with Jay because he made Reasonable Doubt. Because we heard what he was rapping on Volume 1, and we're like, man, this guy's an all-time great MC, even if Kanye did give him that hook and give him the lead into that song.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I'll just be fucking around when it comes to that.
No,
LB216. Yeah, we know who. Listen, this is Jay's abilities when it comes to quote unquote ghostwriting and stealing and all that. Jay has this super brain where he's able to memorize shit so quick. He could probably hear you rap your own shit and memorize your shit before you do. Right. That's his gift. And he could go back and regurgitate something, take your style, and you don't even know it. I think it's amazing, actually. You know what? When you think of it in those terms.
When you look back at it, I'm going to tell you a really funny thing, and this is like head nerd talk. When you're hearing him on Face Off, on Volume 1, where he's like, this goes out to my Brooklyn crew, put your guns up in the air if you feel it. He's mumbling it, Mike, because he doesn't have it all down all the way yet. He had just heard it because of the Life After Death sessions. But you can hear him mumbling it like he don't got it all the way yet. That's his brain. He didn't write it down when he took it from Big. He kept it in his head. You can hear it on Face Off. This goes out because he's getting the melody right before he puts this goes out to my Brooklyn crew, put your guns up, and he's mumbling it to himself to get the timing and the cadence right of it because in his mind he memorized it.
Yeah, he's got a remarkable mind when it comes to this rap shit. What was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought, but it was a really, really, really good one. Yeah, I mean it's this is what I was gonna say because someone said that Drake has all kind of help. This is my thing when it comes to that. I really don't care if Drake had ghostwriters because I don't view him as a lyricist on those terms. You know what I mean? Like if I heard that somebody, and you've heard those rumors where they say, what's his name, wrote on Supreme Clientele or something like that. Like if I hear that somebody wrote One for Ghostface or All That I Got Is You for Ghostface or Dear Mama for Pac or New York State of Mind for Nas, I want to know who that is. And I would feel different about that. But just based on the records that Drake makes, I don't really care if he has a ghostwriter or not. You know what I mean? Doesn't change anything for me because I don't view him as a top lyricist anyway. If Kendrick Lamar had a ghostwriter and somebody wrote To Pimp a Butterfly for him, yes, I would have a problem with that.
You want to know why he was able to go get a ghostwriter, Mike? Because Drake makes the types of tracks because of the formula that he puts together that other people can put together in reference.
Yeah.
And so when I hear stuff like, oh, well, this guy that said he ghostwrite did such and such for Supreme Clientele, it's like, oh, yeah, where's your album? because
Yeah.
there aren't too many albums like Supreme Clientele that have ever been made. And if you're of that type of capability, we would have at least heard a project from you that deserved the type of buzz that is a third of what Supreme Clientele is.
And that's my problem when it comes to people saying that Safari wrote for Nicki. Like, have you heard Safari rap? Like, don't do her like that.
I have, but stop that.
Yeah.
On both accounts.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're going to pull somebody out, let it be somebody that, you know, we can hear like, okay, well, I guess. And see, we've gotten it twisted where giving people ideas is considered ghostwriting or whatever. No, we're talking about actually writing your verse bar for bar. Getting reference tracks like we heard from the Drake reference tracks. It is what it is. And again, for me, it didn't change anything because I never really looked at Drake in a lyricism manner in the same way I look at somebody like a Kendrick or a Cole of their generation, or even an A$AP Rocky, you know what I mean? But I guess for people who felt like he was an MC like that, it changes things. I don't know.
So, but I just want to get this
Pusha
straight.
T. If somebody else wrote Daytona, I would have a problem with that. You know what I mean?
We don't have to worry about that, Mike. There's never been.
Of course not.
Right, but that's what I'm trying to say is that when you're taking the stand about Nicki and talking about how she spits, when the two gentlemen that she has been attached to for the entirety of their career, the main knock on them and their caliber of MCing is ghostwriters. Anybody thinking that that doesn't apply to her when she's in the room the entirety of the time, that all those things are going on with them, is being foolish.
So
She's
are you
right
calling her on
there.
that? Let's keep it real, Coop. Are you calling her on that because she's a female MC and female MCs have traditionally had ghostwriters and people think that's okay? Because the other guys, we had to actually dig up and find the reference tracks for that to even be a thing. I think that there's a thing in hip hop where we just assume that women ain't writing their own shit.
No, but here's what I will tell you, Mike, and this is something that I have actually stood up about on this show in reference to female MCs and having men write for them about the what's the appropriate phrase to use? The misogyny in this culture, the second tier status of women in this culture, the degradation of women in this culture. Yes, second class citizenship. I have spoken to that enumerated times in terms of the rationale for why some of these reasons why these women have had ghostwriters, as in that's how the game gets played. What I'm saying to you is that this case that I'm speaking of does not necessarily apply to Nicki, but let's apply some common sense and say that if the two guys you're connected to are connected to ghostwriters in this culture, in a culture where the ghostwriter is usually for the woman, you telling me there ain't no ghostwriting smoke around her too? Because I call
not.
bullshit.
I say
innocent
until proven guilty.
Way more fire. There's been way less smoke and way more fire. You're literally in the room with other dudes with ghostwriters, and ain't nobody ever wrote no other shit for you. Nah.
I
so
say
it's
innocent.
really more about her being tied to the guys.
I say innocent until proven guilty. And if we found some Quentin Miller reference tracks, you better believe we would have found some Nicki reference tracks. Let's keep it real.
Mike, where there's smoke, there's fire, even if it's real.
It's not smoke around her. It's smoke around them.
Who has she been around her whole career?
They have individual careers, Coop. You act like they a group.
No. When the
they're
smoke's
so
going
separate.
On, no. When the smoke's going on, she's around. That's what I'm trying to express to you. When the smoke going on, she around. She ain't no. No, she
I don't
around.
think she had writers. And again, if I'm
I
proving,
don't have a problem with her having writers, Mike. But what I'm saying is that this is actually Mike. This might be the only instance where the female might have had a writer because the guys had writers, and that's how the process was working in the team. I'm not saying she can't. I'm saying she's getting it down with a team where this is okay. Don't tell me that she didn't convalesce.
And it's about hit records. But again, I'm not gonna put that on her until we find something. We found something on the other guys. I'm not gonna sit here and say because we're in the same locker room and the guys who bat third and fourth got found positive for steroids. I didn't get found positive for steroids, but just because I'm in the dugout with them and I bat second, then I'm taking steroids too.
So let me get this straight. You're okay with all these people jumping in here talking about how Biggie helped with hardcore, but you want to isolate Nicki from guys who are great artists who have had ghostwriters? Because that's what you're doing when you
I
say
heard reference tracks when it comes to Kim. I did. I heard
Mike,
Biggie
hold
reference
on,
track.
Mike, what reference tracks did you hear?
I heard Queen Bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
Uno.
It's a reference track. If I heard one Nicki reference track, I would be like, okay, well.
Mike, so there's one ghostwriter for those guys, but there's none for her.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can't assume that if we haven't found that. Okay, let's go to this T.I. Eminem thing.
Mike, if I pull up to the gas station with three guys who want to rob the store, and I don't want to rob the store, Mike, but I know that they about to rob the store, and they hop back in the same car with me, and I'm riding with them all the same, I'm part of the crime, I'm part of the crew. She part of the crime, she part of the crew.
You act like they work together like that. They do not work together in concert like that. They're individual acts who are signed under an imprint. You act like they a team or something.
Mike, for about 2 years at least, Mike, they all worked together as a team, putting stuff out before they branched off. So what I'm trying to speak to is that there's obviously a way that machine works. And what you're trying to tell me in the way that machine works, that the guys got the ghostwriter and the girl didn't get the ghostwriter, which literally has never happened in the history of this genre in terms of how this machine works.
Well, look at how this whole thing comes together. I mean, Wayne's ghostwriting allegations, if you will, that happened well before the Young Money stuff. And Drake, I mean, listen, in my personal opinion, Degrassi, just looking at his whole background, he was planned to be here. He was going to be pushed to success for whatever reason. He probably had writers from the beginning. Nicki's kind of an outlier here.
You know, you're making my point, right? That's what I'm saying. She stepped into a situation where...
So you're saying they forced writers on her?
Mike, you're missing what I'm saying. It's part of the machine. You're speaking to how it works. You're like, well, Wayne had writers back then, and then Drake had writers back then, but you're saying, oh, they skipped over that process for Nicki.
Oh, hold the phone. We got a super chat from DeCarlo. Shout out to DeCarlo. He says, this is what he said. He said, Mike, I have to admit defeat today. Eminem will lose in most versus battles. I was doing my own mock verses, and he lost every time. I appreciate your honesty, sir. And that will take us to the next segment.
Look at DeCarlo seeing the light. Welcome to the light, brother. It's light over here.
Hey, man. It's tough, man. Sometimes we got to do a little bit of reprogramming. We've been taught certain things for so long, over and over, and it's tough to actually get to the realization of the truth. T.I. said that he would take on Eminem in the verses. I don't think it would happen, but if it did happen, Eminem gets smoked. DeCarlo, could you share who you actually did mock verses with when in regards to Eminem and who he was losing to?
DeCarlo, I'd like to thank you for finally being delivered. It's the land of milk and honey over here when you get delivered. It is. It's the land of milk and honey when you get delivered, brother.
I really want to see Eminem do this versus. But you know what? I think this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing just put a damper on that. He's probably not going to do it now. He doesn't have to.
Well, he already got everything that everybody around him wanted him to get. So
he's not going to do it because he go up there and get exposed. It's not a good look. So he can't jeopardize the voting process of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Or if he gets in the backlash of it by his music being exposed, he's not going to do a versus. Unfortunately. So Busta Rhymes would smoke him. And I know y'all think I'm just an Eminem hater, and I'm not. I actually like some of his material, but I have to put his career in context. I like him in a way that I like Crooked Eye or something.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't
No,
like.
you've been growing. We're gonna take that.
I
We
don't
gonna
like
take that.
him on an all-time great level. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to put it in context. I think he sold a lot of records. He's a superstar, but I think that, get ready for this. I think on the MC list, and we talk about brackets, I've always had him on the B list. If the A list is Jigga, Jay, Big, and stuff like that, he's not that.
I've more or less had him on the B list too, but not about his skills, more about his catalog and more about yeah. But I would too, Mike. See, here's the thing: he's been A-listed his entire career from inception.
No. They did that over time. When the Slim Shady LP came out, nobody was out here putting him with the elites. DMX was here, and you were a novelty act over here with Limp Bizkit and touring with those guys, right? Nobody was sitting here talking about in the hip-hop lexicon, we done found the next Rakim, and he's Eminem. Nobody was doing that.
No,
nobody was doing that. He didn't get into these conversations until he was washed, to be real.
Hold on. I don't totally agree with that. Definitely wasn't DMX when he dropped out. Nobody was that. But what he was, no, Mike, this is what he was. He was rap's first viable white person who was a candidate to be an all-time great MC.
He was never a candidate to be an all-time great MC.
Yes, he was.
He was not.
Mike.
He was a TRL darling. He was.
No, Mike, before he was a TRL darling, he was unsigned hype in the source.
He wasn't even Busta Rhymes, Redman, or Method Man.
No, you cannot skip over the underground roots and go to TRL. You do not get to skip unsigned hype in the Rap Olympics, Mike.
He did.
Mike, unsigned hype and Rap Olympics happened first. Those things were the types of things before TRL ever came into the picture that made people in the hip hop community think this is the most viable white boy we've ever seen because he is.
Those things were planted, Coop, to give him a foundation. Listen to what I'm saying. They were giving him a foundation because they learned from Vanilla Ice. They understood you couldn't just throw somebody out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to work the circuit. We're going to get him in these Rap Olympics. We're going to actually get an article in the source. And then once you get there, we're going to skip you up to TRL.
No, Mike.
He made no noise in Detroit. Let's keep it a buck.
I'm not about to let you do that too.
He made no noise in Detroit. Let's keep it real.
No, on the underground circuit in this culture has an MC. This man has a white man in the mid 90s and late 90s earned his stripes as an MC.
In Detroit?
No, Mike. That's why I bring up the Rap Olympics. The Rap Olympics were down here. He beat Cannabis. He beat Cannabis in the Rap Olympics down here. That's rap shit. That's street shit.
I need to see some recordings. Anybody got some recordings of that stuff? Because a lot of this stuff is very folklorish.
I'm going to go dig them up. They were on Napster. I used to have them because I couldn't believe when I heard that he beat Cannabis in the Rap Olympics that he actually won. I was like, he must have won because he white. Then I listened to it on Napster. I'm like, no, he beat him. And he shouldn't have lost the final because he beat Rhymefest too.
All right. I want to hear some recordings.
That street cred, when a white boy shows up to the Rap Olympics in 1996, I believe, in Atlanta, Georgia, and makes it to the final, yeah, that's not normal. Has any white person like that ever had any sort of credibility as an MC in the hip hop community since? No.
Can he rap? Yes.
Oh God.
All-time great stuff. Come on, man. When the Slim Shady LP came out, he came out with Hi, My Name Is, dressed as Marilyn Manson and stuff. Nobody was talking about
what I'm trying to express to you is that there was a hip hop element about him before he ever dropped an album that made him viable in this community. Unsigned Hype saw it. Dr. Dre saw it. The Rap Olympics saw it. Those are not accidents. Let's not stop acting like these are not viable.
Cool. I love you, bro. I love you, bro.
Oh, God.
And you know how history is, and you know how history gets skewed. I need some recordings. I don't want to just go off of hearsay with this guy because I've seen them change rules, skip things. I want to hear this with my own ears.
That beat cannabis.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
I'm going to go try to dig it up. I'm going to go try to dig it up.
And Mike, if anybody in the room has any access, there needs to be a documentary on this. I want to see a whole documentary of real footage of Eminem's whole battle rap career. So people don't have this lasting thought process of 8 Mile, which was a movie and scripted. And you know what? Some real legit battle rappers actually wrote on there as well. Craig G, shout out to him.
Talking about the Rap Olympics, Mike, where he showed up and he smashed almost every black person there. But okay.
I want to hear it.
No, Mike. I found Blood Money 2 last night, which was like some special stuff for me. I found Blood Money 2. This is next. That's cool.
Let's find it. I mean, Money 2. And if he smoked them like that, you know, I mean, I do know that Rhyme Fest beat him in the Rap Olympics.
He didn't smoke him, but he did beat him. And if you go listen to that rhyme that Rhyme Fest had in that last round versus the rhyme Eminem had, I don't agree.
All right. Well, yeah, I want to hear it. And if we're talking about a versus situation with T.I. and M doesn't stand a chance against T.I. in my opinion.
No. He's going to lose. We're talking about two separate things. I'm talking about his credibility. Now we're talking about how he's going to do in this versus. He's going to take this L.
We got another super chat, man. You guys are being great tonight, man. We got LB216. He says, put it on the screen real quick. He says, Coop, as you would say, no, he was never a candidate to be the greatest, not in our culture.
I said
cut it out.
I said one of, not the one of. Words matter. Like the word one of instead of the.
You know, Coop, let's you worked at the record shop. Let's take it back to 99.
I remember.
In 2000.
I remember.
When those records came out, he was dope. I remember having a conversation with people in my high school, like, who's better, Drag On or Eminem type stuff. DMX wasn't even in the conversation. Like, that's somewhere else. Jay-Z, Nas, that wasn't even in the conversation. That's something else.
No, not when he came out. No, totally agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, like, I'm gonna tell you the record where that changed, and that's why it's still his best record to me. The Way I Am. The Way I Am was the record that, on an MC level, gave evidence to the unfair praise heaped upon him, where it's like, oh, well, no, he is capable of some of what they're talking about. Some of what they're talking about. That was the first real evidence of it. That's the second single off the second album. So some of the things that you're saying are valid and viable. And to the record store claim, Mike, I'm going to tell you something else that I remember. I can remember because the Slim Shady LP came out right around the time I was leaving that record store. I can remember how many copies we put on the, like, we used to section it off based on what we thought was going to sell, you know? And
my bad to, hold on, I don't mean to interrupt you, but LB216 says she's a woman. I apologize. I misgendered. Go ahead.
No. All apologies are her. We're sorry about that. We used to order based on what we really thought we were going to move. Mm-hmm. And so something like Nelly came to the store 4 hours late. Country Grammar, when it first came out, we ordered about 70 copies of it, which is a high number of copies to order for a first artist. When Jay's Volume 3 was coming in, we ordered 120 copies of that. Because that's about to go. Jay just got done doing 5 million records. Mike, the most striking thing to me was that when the Slim Shady LP came out, I can remember it was before I started working at the record store. When I walked in there, we had 5 copies of it sitting in there. Mike, the rollout for the Marshall Mathers LP, which is right before I left. I can remember the order form because I wasn't there when it dropped. Mike, they were ordering 180 copies.
Of course.
Of it to be bought into the store. And so some of what you're saying is true because I'm like 180 copies. I'm like, we only ordered 120 for Volume 3. And Volume 3 is right after Jay got done selling 5 mil. M did 3 mil on his first album.
The push was different. They knew it was coming.
and was getting 60 more copies than a guy who had sold 5 mil around the same time, who was more viable, identifiable, and considered to be the best at the time in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what you're saying is true. And I seen it behind the scenes with the numbers. I seen 5 copies of the Slim Shady LP when I walked in. You get 2 copies of Bad Meets Evil. We had 1 copy of Infinite in our special aisle. But when that shit was rolling out, it was like 108 copies on the dock. I was like, I'm putting 108 copies in this. I'm like, he's about to take up. I remember telling my boss, I was like, he's about to take up a section in the middle of our whole hip hop section.
Nah, that shit probably went fast. I bought a copy. Even me, I got caught up in it. I bought it. It is what it is. All right, we like 2 hours in, man. We got to get up out of here in a second.
You a fan, a phony, a fake.
A pussy, a stand. Okay, I want to wish Cameron a happy birthday, man.
Killer Cam.
Since this is a legacy episode, man, I think that the impact of Cameron doesn't really get spoken about enough. I think that early 2000s, that movement, the Dipset movement, was all on his back. And, Jim Jones and Joel Santana did their thing, and everybody else who, came after that. But Cam laid that foundation, and I think a lot of people kind of come from his tree. We talk about the tree of future. I think that one-word rhyming style, we seen people like Wayne use it, Jeezy, Ross, like especially in the beginnings of their careers. And I don't know if people remember this or not, but when it comes to like New York acceptance or just East Coast acceptance altogether, Dipset was a big part of that when it comes to Wayne getting that East Coast notoriety. Him working with Santana in the way that he did, and him working with them, period, in the way that he did a lot for Wayne. And so I think Cam don't get enough credit, man. He's, that Versus wasn't a great look, but, you're going to get some of the all-time greats when it comes to Jada, Styles, and Chic. I think we even picked Dipset over the Lox in that Versus because we were going on the strength of the songs because we knew how powerful that movement was.
We were wrong.
And I think creatively, I'm going to be perfectly honest, man. I wasn't super big on Cam for the first 2 albums. I liked him. But when he came with Come Home With Me and kind of changed it up, because he's another one of those artists where he changed his style until it became something totally him. You know what I mean?
Hold on. What's his first 2 albums, Mike? Sports, Drugs, and Entertainment?
Yeah, that's number 2. Horse and Carriage is 1.
No. What was the name of the first album?
What was the name of the first album?
One with Pull It. They had Pull It with DMX on there.
Uh-huh. Because SDE was, what was the name of the first album? I have been sipping. I'm sorry.
Me too. Shutting off the pop.
So, let me see.
2009.
I know the people in the chat are probably going to get to it before we do. I'm sitting here on, because I see SDE. I remember that was 2000.
Confessions of Fire.
Confessions of Fire.
There we go.
I saw the, I saw
it
the.
just rung off in my head. It just rung off in my head. Confessions of Fire.
I saw the cover in my head. Yeah, people are
Me
saying
too.
Confessions of Fire and SDE.
Me too. So you want to know what Cam is the prime example of to me? He's the prime. Okay, so they got this thing where they say, and I've said this before on this show in the NFL, where it's like, it's usually not till a quarterback's 3rd or 4th year playing that the game slows down for them and they start seeing all the plays. Now, Mike, you got to be talented enough to get to that 3rd to 4th year so that you can develop like that. There's enough on the first 2 albums that you can see what he can develop into. And so on Come Home With Me, the game has slowed down for him, and he knows exactly who he is.
Yep.
He knows who he is not, and he knows what he is doing. And this is what I mean. Sometimes you have to go through it. Mike, do you remember Banned from TV?
Yeah.
Mike, he's got the worst verse on Banned from TV, and it's a dope-ass verse.
Yeah.
But he's on there with Pun.
He on there with some monsters.
He's on there with Styles and Kiss going back and forth. Mike, matter of fact, that might be the first time we hear Styles and Kiss go back and forth like that.
A moment.
Mike, and Nature has the best verse of his entire career.
Yeah.
And so moments like that helped Cam diversify who he was, and he didn't become that until Come Home With Me. But it was all those moments of finding out who he was. Is he Jada or Styles or Pun on the mic? No. But is he kind of flyer than all them? Yeah.
This is a full circle episode, man, because we talk about identity, right? Like when we talk about Kim's identity was defined from the jump. The Brat's impact, it kind of wavers because of the lack of identity. Cam, once he found his identity, his impact is undeniable. See, when you walk in the room and know who you are, people want to be like you at that point.
No, Mike, that's what I'm trying to say. You want to know what the beautiful thing was? Was that he went back to his roots, and that's how he became who he was. He went back to Killer Cam, but he went back to Uptown, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So he made it grimy and flashy at the same time. He's an Uptown nigga. He got known from Children of the Corn as Killer Cam. That's why Killer Cam's my favorite song. I'm like, oh, he know. That's for his audience, Mike. That's for the people that stayed down. When Killer Cam comes on, that's for all of us. It's like, oh, yeah, that nigga's still here, but he's a fly dude now. So he really just bought the Uptown Harlem out in the Killer Cam style. So really all he did was get back to who he was before those two albums. And that's why the next two albums sound so beautiful. It's who he was to begin with. He fly gangster with it. I'm from where Nicki Barnes grew rich as fuck. Rich and A hit the kitchen, started pitching up.
Rob
Mace, Dougie Fresh, switched it up. I do both. Who am I to fuck tradition up? That's Cam.
Stop parking in the tollway zone. Woo! I don't care that car.
Tollway home.
Yo, his rhyme scheme is crazy. Shout out to Ray Rims with another super chat. He says, we don't speak about how Cameron's flow evolved. Excuse me. His versatility is understated. I agree. We don't talk about that enough. And I think it was very impactful, too.
Hey, Mike, when Clips wanted to do Popeyes, who's the East Coast MC they picked?
I mean, Cam is the go-to guy. Right, because
Cam can slide in the pocket.
Bars, man.
Right, fly gangster shit. Right.
Yeah, so I wanted to give some, flowers to Cam. He just spit a freestyle on Flex not too long ago that had the internet going crazy. I think it got like 200,000 views, at least on According to Hip Hop. So.
And Mike, I want to say this. Like, Dipset lost the verses to the Locks. But if you were watching that versus, you can see the moment
Cam stepped up.
Where Cam is like, nah.
Yeah.
We're going down. We're not going down like this. And he stepped in for a moment and made it something because they were about to get blown. So don't underestimate this man as an MC or his competitive fire and fury. Because here's the thing, Mike, that's a man that knew his team was about to take the L. And apparently he's not even close to them like that anymore. But about that shit, Mike, he stepped up and stayed thin. And about his part of the catalog is the only thing that even made the verses viable. Performance-wise, catalog-wise, song-wise, and presence-wise. Because when Kiss is talking that shit, Cam is standing right there smiling the whole time. Yeah. You want to know why? Because Cam took away the biggest check.
My favorite Cam verse is on The Rock. It might be my favorite Cam song.
It could be. Hold on. Hold on. What did he say?
Go ahead, stupid nigga. Go fuck with them chicks. I'm the third little piggy. I'ma fuck with them bricks. Better yet, the bakery. I got pies and cakes. Niggas think doubling is turning 5 to 8. I turn 8 to 20, 20 to 100, 100 to 1,000, that to 100,000. In front of housing. Close the mall, dog. Close the mall down, dog. No one's allowed. I'm copping everything. I'm done with browsing. Whoo! Get your shit rock mall like Haseen rock mall. And what do you say? Scary.
Every time I slide off, it could be February. Sound like July
4th, Halloween or Memorial Day. At your memorial, be 1 year from today. All y'all think is peace and PG. I leave you Reese Peasy. All my bitches rock. Christian Dior, DCBG. What? It's like, no, I never heard nobody rap like that. Like
No,
the
on
rhyme
that,
schemes is just so creative. Like,
no, very like organized confusion, like on the gangsta tip in terms of like playing with the bar style and format of it. Like he realized that rapping the classic New York, that's what I'm saying about he's special. He realized that the guys that were rapping the classic New York way were better than him from his class, Pun and Kiss in style specifically, and he switched up. And Mike, bigger star than all of them.
but see, that's what you got to do, right? Like,
Bigger star than all of them. Mike,
become a
just like Ja Rule.
specialist. Like, you
Just
know what?
like Ja-
If these people do this better than me, let me be the best rebounder out here. Let me be the best defender out here and make my mark in that way.
Ja Rule, Mike, he's sitting up there next to DMX and Jay-Z. He's like, oh, well, I'm over here with it. He's like,
Shout
get some
out to
chicken
Ja
fingers
Rule
and
for that.
records.
Because
Yeah,
Ja
get
Rule
some chicken
found
fingers.
his lane and his identity and rode it.
Mike, he found it quick. Like after one album, he was like, oh, that ain't gonna work. Boom, boom, bam. 3 million records.
Well, on that note, man, let's get up out of here, man. We like 2.5 hours in. We could continue to go on and on. I did want to talk about DJ Paul producing on the Games album.
No, let's talk about it.
Supposedly, DJ Paul is going to be producing 5 joints on the Games Drillmatic, and I'm looking for the release date for Drillmatic. It looks like Game is coming with some fire. I like that combination. I think that's going to be a hard combination. 5 tracks from DJ Paul. Who gets that?
Nobody outside of Memphis, Mike.
Yeah, Drake got one that was hard. 2 Chainz got a couple on what was that? Freebase. They were hard.
You said 5.
5, yeah,
You said 5.
yeah. I'm
So-
looking forward to Drillmatic.
So let's talk about how styles make fights. Isn't this one of those pairings that you never thought about that makes you excited because
Yeah.
of the people involved? Because when you think about the styles, as in the styles of beats that DJ Paul does,
Yep.
the style of rap that Game perpetuates on the mic, and I'm like, oh,
I like
this
it.
stuff be mashed up.
I like
I told you, Mike, I feel like we're going to hear Scream on them better produced, like that intensity and high rap level, but like with the bounce, the knock, and that's no knock the Swiss, because Scream on them is one of my favorite records. I'm just talking about Game's intensity and format of approaching the record, because that's one of those records to be funny. He drills that record. He does a lot of records like that, Mike, where he digs into it and he drills it. That's perfect for Paul's beats. It's perfect.
Yeah, and DJ Paul is very NWA influenced too. So, you know, when it comes to that West Coast knock, he gets that because their sound is very influenced by, I would say, straight out of Compton NWA.
Right.
So
But
it
straight
should
out of
be-
Compton,
Should
NWA
be
is
very
you know,
interesting.
but straight out of Compton is inspired by Criminal Minded. So you know what I'm saying? It all
Exactly.
starts circulating back around.
I love
Right.
it. East
We just
Coast,
went-
West Coast, down south,
Right.
all that.
I was about to say, we just went from Bronx to Compton to Memphis, and it all relates.
All right, man. Well, next week, hopefully we get Drillmatic or something else, man. I'm looking forward to it.
About to be a great year, Mike.
It is, man. Another great show. Y'all subscribe to the page. Subscribe to According to Hip Hop on YouTube. Hit the bell icon so you know when we're going live. You can even follow us on Instagram, all that stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're everywhere. One more thing. Our yearbook is coming. We almost done.
Oh, yeah. We had to make sure we get it right for y'all.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Editing.